Good evening. Brave Monday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Aloft, a post-atomic romance here on GeekSpaceTV. My name's Andrew. I'm your dungeon master for the evening, and I'm here with some friends who, first up, are going to roll initiative.
Yeah.
While I read some awesome announcements about the exciting stuff happening on GeekSpaceTV. As a reminder, in case you're joining us for the first time, or any other reason you'd love to hear these words, GeekSpaceTV is a non-profit online broadcasting studio dedicated to improving diversity, inclusion, and representation in gaming and geek spaces. And some news for this studio's presentations include no shows on Friday for the next week or two, but we'll still have Aloft and Leviathan. Aloft on Mondays, you're watching it right now. Leviathan Distant Stars, an awesome space opera, is on Wednesday nights at 7. Saturday the 18th is our 1-year anniversary of streaming. Expect the schedule to be released in the next couple of days. And so that's coming up. That's like 5 days from now if you're watching live. So stay tuned. And if you're going to be at PAX, let us know on Discord. And you can get to the Discord from the GeekSpaceTV Twitch page, which a bunch of you are probably looking at right now. Various GeekSpaceTV cast and crew will be on a bunch of panels, and we'd love to see you. So, yeah. I'm probably going to arrange a little get-together for Aloft next week, or, at PAX in a few weekends. And hopefully you'll be able to see some of these people, too. Yeah. So, Monica. Monica is back and playing Fennec, the druid, healer, shapeshifter, botanist, friend to animals, enemy to pirates. What's your initiative?
I got 19.
19. That's darn good. All right.
It's my favorite number.
Fennec on
Really?
a 19.
I didn't know that.
Since forever.
Cool.
Taking
My
personal
forever.
notes.
It's
Parentheses.
prime.
Monica's favorite number.
It's also Stephen King's favorite number.
Oh, that makes
Ooh.
sense.
Well, then I'll be a hipster and say that you have lowered in my esteem for sharing a favorite number with a famous author.
No, I didn't do it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I was told later that was the case.
The
Intent
importance.
and impact are not the same thing, Monica.
Oh.
And
I actually wanted
eat
to
it
be
up,
19 forever. When I was a kid, I decided that 19 would be the perfect age. And if I could turn 19 and then never have to get older or younger and just be that age forever, it would be just that's all I wanted. And then I turned 19 and passed it and decided to just add numbers to that. And so instead of 25, I'm just 19 forever. Yeah.
Right, 19
Yeah.
plus 6.
Have you ever
6th
Yeah, whatever.
anniversary of turning 19.
Yeah.
Yes, nice.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
So, having been 19 myself
Yeah.
at one point, I did not find it to be the perfect age.
No?
When you were 19, did you feel the perfect agedness of it?
I mean, I got engaged at 19. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
Experience. Okay.
Sorry.
Have you ever seen the movie Logan's Run?
So I think this conversation is legitimately more interesting than the game that I prepped, but I am obligated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've made agreements that I should
Monica
get back to
facts.
it. So Holly,
Yes.
what's your initiative number?
Oh.
That you rolled for, Lando or Yolanda, a paladin by class, a town guard by trade, wielder of an axe that does not itself shriek, but causes others to shriek for it.
Sheila.
Sheila. Real MVP right there. So what's that initiative count?
Well, it's the loneliest number.
Oh,
Oh.
Yes, 1.
1. Fantastic.
And do I have anything to add to that? No, I really don't.
All right, so Lando on a 1. Delightful.
I'll be here all night. Catch you later, yeah.
Yeah.
Catch you outside?
How about that?
Hey, George. Welcome back.
Hi.
George, what did you roll for initiative for Getty?
First, I have to take my licks. I have to admit I didn't remember to get my dice off the shelf until 5 seconds before we're shooting. And so I dumped this whole thing of dice out in front of me. Oh, Oh, you
now
know
you're
what?
making the
You
noise.
know what?
No, I think you
I'm
might-
just going to set these aside until break.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave this jar here.
Like
and
a-
everyone will remind everyone that I'm a dummy head.
I'm here with
Dum
you
Dum
in your
Mister.
time of distress.
The good news is I got a 15 in initiative.
That's a pretty good
which is a
initiative
lot
roll.
better than 1. Sorry.
Getty,
You know what? I'll see where the land is laying before I make my move. I'm watching.
You know what?
Yeah.
All this means is you get to react to circumstances that shift. This gives you tactical control in a way.
Really?
yeah, you're going to be, either way, whether you want to or not, because you rolled a 1. Just want to make that clear. Man, I keep trying to be mean and sarcastic, and it just doesn't stick. It doesn't feel authentic. But what is cool and authentic is Getty, who is a bard by class and a doctor by trade, as well as well-rounded, resilient community crafter. And then Corwin. It's been a little while, like a whole week, I think.
Yeah.
So for the ranger, the artist with a bow,
Who's in close quarters combat.
yes, who's now just up close and personal with a very pretty girl who's attempting to put swords through him.
One might even say a bow artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that initiative number?
Well, first of all, I would like to stall for time by, since going back to that 19 argument, I would like to wish all of our viewers long days and pleasant nights. And
That's very sweet.
yeah, and I hope I do have twice that number. Since my number is 11.
11. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for that math.
But I'm figuring I was taken by surprise, and so it's caught me off guard, so I didn't quite know what to expect. I feel like 11 is a good, relatable number for him in this
That's
situation.
pretty good, and it's actually just a bit more than the 10 that your new friend question mark rolled.
Frenemy? I feel like this is about as legit as Frenemy gets.
Yup. All right.
Maybe it's how she flirts.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to kink shame.
last time on Aloft, a post-atomic romance, you all took your airship, the Calamity Jane, from Hill City, South Dakota, west to Seattle, Washington, or Stranger Seattle, as the locals and the traders call it. After a brief encounter with some drone riding, mysterious techno soldier looking folk inspecting you on the way in, you set down at the Grand Bazaar located at the old Husky Stadium, and traded with the harbor master. I recall that Getty dropped a natural 20 on his persuasion check to haggle,
I did. That did
and
happen.
yeah, and talked her down to the fine samples of Hill City carpentry, like rocking chairs. Also bought some books, did some trading,
Got some seaweed,
got some seaweed, got some of that rainbow kelp.
Yeah.
rainbow kelp.
Heard rumors of sea monsters, which really excited Lando.
That was like
And-
kill some sea monsters. You
So-
see it in your eyes.
Hey, Lando, important question. Who would you rather kill? Cannibals or sea monsters?
Cannibals, because I'm a paladin,
Yeah.
and I have to put what's best for everyone the highest.
Okay, what about cannibal Bigfoot versus cannibals sea monsters?
Cannibal sea
Right.
mon-
I'm sorry. We're playing D&D.
Are we talking about? Never mind. I was going to ask more questions, but I did ask you to roll for initiative.
Oh, shit,
And
I'm
that
sorry.
implies a sense of urgency. So
Oh,
what
yeah.
also happened back at the Grand Bazaar?
You know, it's because we're so comfortable with you. And we've come to think of you as part of our family. You know,
he's
it's
not
like-
wrong.
Yeah.
it's like how you really like after a while you stop registering when you're naked in front of your cat.
Oh God.
Wait,
And then I'm going to be the family member that keeps dragging conversations back to what he wants to talk about,
right?
which is this game of post-apocalyptic science fiction Dungeons and Dragons. So Theo back at the Grand
You
Bazaar.
are that uncle at Thanksgiving, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. But at least I want to talk about D&D and not, I don't know, politics? Football?
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
which your mileage may vary. I like that uncle, so I'm pretty happy about where we're at. You got picked up basically by a fancy-looking, very confident lady with swords
Yeah.
who was checking out your swords
Yes, she was.
and invited you to a party, and she had a carriage and everything.
Yeah.
Fennec came along. While that conversation was happening, Lando and Getty were following up, trying to find the reason you came to Seattle, which was to find your sheriff's missing son, who was enrolled in pre-med at the University of Washington when the
And
bombs
like
dropped.
every 20-year-old with 2 semesters of organic chemistry has apparently turned into drug manufacturing.
Really, we should have just gone straight towards drug trade.
I know, I was like, he was pre-med. All he knows is how to make drugs.
I've heard that organic chemistry is just horrifically difficult, and I feel like anyone who passes it and knows how to make drugs should just get to.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to espouse controversial views here. I just have a lot of respect for people who are better than me at math.
We're gonna get reshared in the organic chemistry community. Is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I hope so.
So this guy, 25 years later, we pick up his trail manufacturing MDMA for the Provosies.
We're really going for that meth Templar dollar.
So he's apparently one of the court physicians for some sort of petty kingdom out in the Green Lake neighborhood called Court Avalon. So you hired a guide to get you from the Grand Bazaar over to Court Avalon. You end up showing up there right after Theo and Fennec are there. There was some exchange. You arrive at a party where there's a bunch of dueling happening and trays of wine going around, people dressed like fancy duelists at parties with masks. There's a minstrel with a guitar, and then your friend, frenemy, decided, hey, you're up next, and started the duel by throwing her goblet into your face and producing her swords. So, that is what done happened last time. This time, and to re-describe the locale, so there's this lake with a park around it, and then there's a number of fences that have been put up, and you were told in the carriage, Theo, or you overheard your friend say, to the boathouse.
Yeah.
And it looks like some kind of clubhouse next to some docks with some boats tied up.
Is there a pier? Does there appear to be a pier?
There's a very short pier, or a pair of long docks that boats are tied up to. You can see all the way across the lake. It's not that big a lake, so the boats aren't very big. Just in case you were wondering how large the boats were, I figured I'd just throw that information at you. It's totally not going to be important later.
Yeah.
And the tennis courts adjacent to the clubhouse were sort of the outdoor soiree grounds. And it's a midsummer early evening. It's very clement. You heard that it rains all the time here, but actually it's kind of just nicely warm right now. And clear skies.
Dramatic decrease in carbon emissions over the last 25 years has slowed global warming.
Yeah, clearly. So you're there. You don't got this wine thrown in your face. Swords are out. Everyone went, oh, dang, it's on, and have started to move around, cluster around to watch. When this lady appeared with you in tow, she appeared to be the shit. Everyone was deferential to her. And now that she's on, everyone's crowded around and paying attention. So Fennec is nearby. Fennec is inside the party. You're on the tennis courts. And it's your turn initiative, so what do you do?
Are there any animals around here?
Ooh, that's a great question. Make a perception check.
Squeevils.
And go ahead and make it with advantage because you're like a druid and stuff.
Well, I got an 18 on the first roll.
Let's see if we can go for 20.
I got a good 18 plus something or other.
All right.
What was it? Perception?
Perception, yeah.
Okay, so that's a 23.
A 23? Yes. There are, you just have the moment where, your eyes unfocus and you can hear everything around you, and you spot the birds in the trees. And while these people must be what you've heard of are rich assholes, because, some of them, there's 2 very small, useless dogs there.
Whoa.
Not all dogs are valid. All dogs are important. In the harsh post-apocalypse, it would have been hard to and expensive to hang on to a dog that is really only there for emotional support.
Are you calling
So-
like a Pomeranian or like King Charles Spaniel or
That's great.
Cavalier?
I am not personally familiar with the name of a lot of dog breeds, so I'm going to say
Oh.
there's one that's got a bit of a Scottish Terrier look, very
Okay.
much like the adorable beard.
Oh, is he like the
Hanging. very
little teacup Yorkie?
Those would be very
Yes.
useful.
Oh, I
They're like
love
great-
teacup Yorkies.
Also, those
They
like
make
the-
good ratters and stuff.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
super useful in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
All
also
dogs matter.
Hashtag all dogs matter.
there's also
Wait, no.
there's also a miniature
reason I didn't
poodle
say
of
it.
some kind.
No.
One the little
Standard poodle or miniature poodle?
miniature. We're talking a small poodle.
Oh, okay. Because standard poodles are badass.
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
big.
Okay.
This one's Biddle.
You
It's
said there
walking
are a lot of
around.
birds,
The
though?
terrier's in a bag.
You know what? There's
Okay.
a lot of around Green Lake, Current Lake crows.
A lot of crows.
Yeah.
Oh, there are a lot of
A
crows.
lot
around.
of crows these
Okay.
days.
You also notice there's some waterfowl out on the lake. Big old ducks.
Big old ducks, like mutant ducks, or just
The viewers at home, like if this were the TV show, they would notice that those are unusually large ducks.
Ducks of unusual size. But
I don't think they exist.
But it may just be a trick of your perception because they're on the water. So maybe that duck was really, really close.
Absolutely so.
So I'm feeling like I want to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
And I want to talk to like the crows and the birds around here.
Cool.
And basically get them to like come in and circle around like in this like weird murder horde around the fighting.
You want to get like a crow
Like,
vortex
"Ah,
happening?
ah, ah,"
Uh-huh.
yeah, all the way around.
Can that be done? Speak of animals?
You can all right.
Ask them.
You can ask them.
I can ask them. Yeah.
So you cast Speak with Animals, and the chattering of the various animals around,
Mm-hmm.
like, has shifted into now you're hearing like, oh, the murmuring, and if you focus, you can understand what they're saying.
Okay.
What do you say to these crows?
First off, what are the crows saying? Do the crows hate these assholes too? Because
Crow-
crows are opinionated fucking birds.
Yes,
they
sir.
are.
If Fennec wanted to spend time listening to the crows before telling them to do something, we can find out,
Okay.
or we
I
can
would
make
love-
it cool right now.
I would love if they're having any current opinions as I tune in. I would love to know if they're like what their mood is.
They're commenting on the fights.
Okay. So from our fight with the shark pirates, the Skyrates,
Uh-huh.
I got this like pouch of shiny things.
Yeah,
Shoot.
And I
like
like
jewelry and tchotchkes and
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
metal things like that.
exactly. Clinks, things
Yeah.
that clink and shine.
Mm-hmm.
And I grab out a handful of them and I shake them and I'm like,
The crows nearest to you instantly fall silent. They're like, shiny.
y'all want to get in this on this game with me?
What's the game?
We're going to mess with their fight.
Ooh, that could have consequences for them. Real
Is
quick,
it?
yeah, it could. Real quick, drop some persuasion on them.
Okay.
These crows are probably jerks, but
shit.
they're not.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah,
What you got?
worth it.
What you got?
What you got?
16.
16.
Yeah. That's without guidancing myself.
Some of the crows hem and caw. Sorry, I meant to say hem and haw and then correct the pun, but I just went straight to it. And they
And I'll give you some shinies.
they're hemming and cawing, and then like the beefiest crow goes, "Hell yeah!" and takes off. And like instinctually, the crows closest to that crow, who think that's the coolest crow, like immediately follow. And so you've begun, like, probably by next round, more crows will be joining in.
Is it like
Okay,
a cool
perfect.
crow
And I
vortex?
want some of them to have picked up some of the shinies in my hand and then be carrying it around so it's like flashing and glittering as they're flying around.
So they stoop by and like
Scoop.
snatch out of your hand.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do they just snatch out of your hand, or do you like toss them up?
I'm gonna toss them.
Whoosh. fistful of shinies in the air. Crows perfectly
Yeah.
snatch
and
them
I throw
out.
it over the fight too, so they like dive into the fight and then start circling.
I'm loving it. It's great.
So there's now a vortex of crows circling this fight.
Can I get
Yes.
my inspiration back?
I was just about to give you your
Good.
inspiration back. Yeah.
Here, have some.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I have to double check what time is it? Because right now it's turning into Fight in the Disco. If the light is right and the setting sun is glinting off of this, it's causing like flashes going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yes. Yes.
This is
Well observed.
Yeah.
So, does the crowd have an
Getty's up next, by the way.
have an initiative number?
I was going to resolve it sort of at the end of the round.
Well, I am interested in what their reaction is going to be to this lady.
Yeah, so am I.
Okay, I just really wanted to put a marker there that she went all Stevie Nicks on their party, and that's
They
like,
might be into it, they might not.
yeah.
They'll get a turn after the rest of you get turns, including Getty's up. So you're outside the fence. You're like 2 fences away, because there's the fence around the park, and then there's the fence around the tennis courts, but you're within 50 feet.
And I've been watching the lead up to this as the lady finally saunters up and throws the. Well, did I see what happened with the previous fight?
The
Did the other person die?
You didn't see anyone die. You were just getting close enough to notice that there was something like a duel wrapping up when the next one immediately started.
For
You were
all I
like,
know.
"Hey, movement! Oh, that's Theo. All right." By the way, the other animal you noticed, Fennec, is when Getty and Yolanda rolled up. They had a guide with them, and the guide has a dog as well.
Oh,
Looks like some kind of Chihuahua mix.
yeah.
Chihuahua with something bigger.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
probably used up my animal speaking for this round, right?
Well, animal speaking goes. Yes, we can come back to it next turn.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that was true.
All right.
Awesome.
So what does Getty do?
So I'm going to build off of last session where I encouraged Theo to fly better by reminding Theo that ultimately Theo was already an expert in this sort of thing.
Yeah.
By shouting at Theo, if you didn't notice I was here yet, underneath all her swagger, she's just another duelist. And then you see me.
I have friends here.
And you get a bardic inspiration. die.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to
Loving
use
it.
my own dice because last time I ended up
Okay, give me
stealing
that.
one.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, fine.
So,
Dice thief. I know.
anything else with that turn of yours, Getty?
What else is there to do other than enjoy the show?
All right. Fair point. So then Theo's up. So you feel inspired. Also, there is this woman getting up in your grill with her swords. And also there's wine dripping down your face.
I also feel like I was guided when I handed off my bow to Fennec.
Oh, yes, we're establishing that Fennec did cast guidance.
Yes.
So you've got all those extra dice sitting around.
Yeah.
What's up? What's your play?
Okay. So, I am not going to draw my swords yet.
Okay. Oh, by the way, at the end of last session, Peregrine caught up to you and delivered your bow.
Yep.
Is Peregrine on your back, or did you leave Peregrine like to the side?
So Peregrine was sitting with Fennec with the bow. Fennec, if you would like, then Peregrine is joining in the attack of the crows.
Are you going to spend some kind of action directing Peregrine to do that?
I am going to spend a.
You can make it a bonus action to issue the command.
I'm going to I'm going to use a bonus action to issue the command. And as a free action, I'm going to step back and wipe the wine from my face. I was assuming I was going to have a chance to dodge out of the way of the wine.
Oh, you know what?
But I'm going to just let it roll as red.
Okay.
So I'm going to just step back and go, well, that was rude. And I am going to hold my action. And I don't know what I'm going to hold my action to do because all of the things that I want to do are like specialized skills.
You can spend your regular action to dodge.
I can spend a regular action to dodge.
Yeah, give her disadvantage on attack rolls.
I will do that. Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm going to be dodging and moving around acrobatically because right now Theo doesn't know this is a fight. Theo thinks this is still just flirting.
Brilliant.
So until blood is drawn, Theo just thinks that like this is a tango. This is yeah.
Okay, I'm really digging it. Do you currently have inspiration
I'm
marked or tracked somehow?
I think you did get some
I
last
think
round.
I did.
That's what this is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I grabbed one.
If you didn't, then you're about to get some more.
Okay. So
But-
we will go with the fact that I have an inspirations.
Great.
Okay.
Then the inspiration meter remains at 1.
Yes.
Then it is her turn.
Mm-hmm.
So you backed up just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't use her attack of opportunity when you did that, but she's going to, leading with her right foot, like step back into range with you
Yeah.
and swing those swords.
Okay. That's adorable.
Swinging, feinting.
Oh, she's fainting already?
Stabbing.
That's cute.
So, and she's rolling with disadvantage because you're being all acrobatic and dodgy.
Yeah, you are pretty dodgy.
Real dodgy.
Yeah.
The main blade, this looks like a very well constructed dueling blade, like a rapier, but with a nice thick blade.
Yeah?
The blade, like as it's catching the light, it's shimmering with a how do I say it, like a iridescence. She misses. You dodge
Yep.
out of the way of that. She's luckier with the offhand, the long dagger
Yeah?
comes in through the side and gets you.
Oh.
What's your armor class, by the way?
It is 15 because
15.
I am now wearing police armor.
Right, the layered vests you got
Yes.
from the pirates. So, that is going to be a stern, stout, respectable 3 points of piercing damage.
Oh, you wound me! Okay.
Did you say that out loud? Do you say that out loud, or was that just for
Sure.
us?
Yeah.
And she replies, "That's the idea." And there is a bit of a frightening glint in her eye.
Oh.
Yes. And when the blade comes back out, and there's a little, some blood spilled onto the clay of the tennis court, a cheer comes up from the crowd.
A dainty dash of blood.
Yes, just a bit. Just, I don't know, about 3 points worth. Lando's
Okay.
turn.
Alrighty. Guys, did you know I can do magic?
What?
Yeah.
It hasn't really happened before.
I
this your
know.
god?
But, so I've got 2 spells I would like to cast.
Okay, well,
The first one is an action, the second one's a bonus action.
You
So-
can only cast one per turn.
you can only cast a spell per turn.
You know, well, okay, well, I have to cast this one first because the other one requires concentration. So I am going to command her
Ooh.
with my commanding voice.
What do you say?
Fumble.
Oh. So, you haven't really used any spells outside of a smite before, so I want
No.
to talk about what it looks like when Lando's incredible, almost magical, glow infused force of personality.
Does Lando become Galadriel?
I was imagining a sports fan going, "You're a bum! Choke! Choke! Choke!"
That makes more sense.
But what the visual effects are that tell people
Kick it
who
like Walsh.
know to look for it, that it is a glow fueled effect happening. And this is something that I wanted to talk about on air. Sure, in the middle of initiative, why not? So I was. Did you have any ideas? Because I have a few ideas.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's like a literal glow forms around my mouth and carries forth my commands.
Like the glow travels forth, or
Yes,
it's just
yes.
that your mouth is glowing.
What? Well, my mouth is, but then it emerges and it goes forth as if there are nanotech, we'll say.
Oh,
As if.
Well, I figured you were more of a psychic mutant. is
Yeah,
how you
okay,
did
I'm a
yours.
psychic man. Yeah, so it's like my psychic powers. But spoiler, my other spell that I'm going to cast next round is going to be Shield of Faith,
Delightful.
which has a shimmering field that appears.
Oh,
So I figure let's get our literal glow on.
nice.
And so when I command, it's like my words follow on a golden breeze from my mouth into her ear,
Yes. Yes.
Forcing her to do a wisdom saving throw.
So she's going to do that wisdom saving throw. What's your difficulty class on them spells of yours?
My difficulty, so is that just me rolling plus charisma?
No,
Oh,
8
no,
plus
it's-
your proficiency modifier
Yep.
plus your wisdom modifier.
Or my charisma?
Charisma.
Okay, sorry,
yeah.
charisma plus proficiency plus 8. No roll.
Charisma plus proficiency
Uh-huh.
plus 8 is 12.
It's 12. She got a 19. Does the description of the spell state explicitly that someone knows you tried to do this?
Well, it's got a verbal component, so
So you did shout.
I do shout, but I think shouting "fumble bitch," only the fumble part was the command. Yeah. The spell, nope. Nothing more.
All right.
I
Good to
mean,
know.
unless she was undead.
Unless she was undead, past tense.
Her response to that is she even spares a moment of concentration over her shoulder to look out at where that shout came from and said, "Not likely, rabble." And then she turns and shouts at the person with the guitar, like, "You, give me something to dance to." And the guitarist goes into sort of a flamenco-esque bit of strumming and picking.
Yeah.
That sounds appropriate.
So cool, awesome. Anything else from Lando on Lando's turn?
Nope.
All right. End of the round. Crowd reaction. Crowd is into it. Blood has been drawn. The if you recall, at the end of last session, I think she'd said something like, "Oh, this goes on until you're done," and you're not exactly sure what she meant by that, but.
He's got some ideas that are highly incorrect.
So we're going to go back around to the top, and it's Fennec, who's talking to some boids.
Some what?
Birds, sorry.
Boyds?
Yeah,
Boids.
I was just talking funny because I'm very excited about this. So, what do? More crows are entering the circle dance.
So there were dogs that are there with other people who are regulars, it looks like?
Yeah, there's 2 dogs hanging out with their foppish, duelist attired owners.
Okay.
Do you like dogs?
I'm gonna ask one of the dogs, whichever one looks like it's the most active of the 2. If she's dangerous and if I should worry for my friend.
Okay, so closer to you. Oh, I'll even roll for it, because why not? It's Dungeons and Dragons. The closer of the 2 is the poodle, which instead of not a bandana, but like a cravat around its neck, something just more. Ugh.
Je ne sais quoi.
Oui. So you ask the poodle, is she dangerous? And watching the fight and sort of not bothering to look at you, the poodle says, "Oh, he's as good as dead.
Oh. Okay.
This will be great. You're lucky to be here."
That's great.
Do the dogs get to eat the dead people?
Great question.
Are the
Technically not
dogs
cannibalism.
cannibals?
That's not a question that Fennec would ask.
Anything else with your turn?
So
That was just a moment of conversation. It doesn't take up your action.
That's good. How? So she has 2. She has 2 swords she's fighting with.
Yes.
Does she have any extras?
Ooh, great. Those are the obvious ones.
Okay.
Looking around, there's a lot of people that are wearing, you can see like small knives concealed or the butt of a pistol poking out from a sash here or there.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to see because she's moving around a lot now,
Okay.
unless you want to drop some perception on it. How important is this to you? What are you going to do with this information?
Well, I'm trying to decide if I want to have the birds distract her or if I want to have the birds steal her weapons.
Oh.
So, like, if she has things that are on her that they can, like, grab at, like, I'm like, get the shiny things off of her, then that's distracting, and also they might get weapons off of her. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Do you want? Is that your play? Is that what you want to go for?
That's what I want to do.
Okay. You already rolled to persuade,
So,
so Buff Crow is in on the plan,
yeah.
and goes in for the snatch and grab. Buff Crow. I'm gonna just go ahead and say he, because you heard like the
Yeah. Yeah.
off Crow over here
Yeah.
voice
Crover here.
in Crow.
Yeah.
Say drops the shiny, like the biggest shiny that being best Crow he grabbed, drops it, and a smaller one grabs it
Yeah.
because he's going for the real loot now. Gonna roll for Crow stuff, and plucks a brooch off of her collar, and she's got like a little half cape.
Yeah.
Like,
Does it fall?
yes, it falls. It catches the wind. It flutters to the ground.
Can the crow bring me the brooch?
Do you want the brooch?
I want the brooch.
All right. We're gonna get back to that next round.
Talk that crow out of that roach.
Then
Roach is how it's getting paid.
Getty's turn. You're watching. Is there anything else you want to do while you're watching? You've successfully inspired.
I liked your idea, but we're gonna go ahead and try to. We gotta take things up a notch here. Did William T. ever get back to me on a different name for hold person, or am I still using paralytic?
I'm not sure. So let's go with paralytic until we find out.
Okay, we'll get back to you. Hold person.
On.
Purple semantic material. Okay. I pull out I manifest what appears to be my gas gun, but instead of like a green pack for the usual sleep gas, it's like we'll go with an orange pack with like an extra tube.
Nice.
Or
So like
something.
you reach into hammer space basically, and like a swirling cloud of nanites forms into your.
My thought is like when the Doom or Wolfenstein revivals, when you get the gun upgrades with a different spec, basically.
Sure.
And aim a pellet of gas that's invisible, just kind of travels through the air, smacking her in the face, and
So that's a saving throw, right?
wisdom saving throw, please.
Ooh, what's your DC?
13.
13. She makes it. She seizes up in the middle of like some fancy footwork that she's doing to keep Theo on his toes, like for just a second, and then shudders and breaks free of the effect and keeps moving. And then she does a circle, swinging her sword around, pointing at the crowd in general, and shouts, "Who did that?" And a perception check happens, and we'll deal with the consequences of that later.
Versus my opposed stealth check to do it without causing a scene,
Sure.
which, by the way, was a 23.
Oh, that's very good to know. Thank you. You feel really good about that. I'm not going to tell you how you feel. You have every reason to feel real good about that.
So she made the check, is what you're telling me. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's do it.
So then it's Theo's turn. So you are being assailed by a bit of a wild-eyed duelist
A little bit of a wild-eyed
who is now in turn being assailed by crows and mysterious micro seizures. So
And harsh words.
and harsh words. So, fact about Corwin is one of my favorite dances in the world is called the Paso Doble. This is
Carwin facts.
Hashtag corn facts.
and the fact that the instrument player just opened with a
Yeah.
chord as the flamenco style music is starting
Uh-huh.
is feeding right into this, especially since she has now just done a big full circle with her sword, which is very much in the Paso Doble style.
Oh, yeah.
And the seizure was not really noticed by Theo. It was seen very much as like a
Like a step, yeah.
a
You're
step.
reading a bit more dance into this than she's putting out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
So
tell
this
me-
is still
So
all dance.
Tell me what you do.
So, Theo is going to draw his swords, and he's going to pose them over his head. And in 7 elegant steps, he is going to circle her.
Uh-huh.
Probably actually as she is doing the circle with the sword,
Uh-huh.
Theo is just walking around behind her.
Ooh, trailing the...
So when she's got her back to him, he is walking around in the circle behind her in a very like stylistic lunge step pose. Step pose.
In the Paso Doble, he is the matador.
Oh.
And traditionally, she would be, that your dance partner would be your cape, but she's actually the bull, I think, is what's happening here.
Yeah.
Yes, I watched So You Think You Can Dance for many seasons. Thank you.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Paso Doble with a bull. A
Yeah.
bit more of a Paso Doble.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a doubly down on this, so not pass on it.
Thank you.
No worries.
And
So I have both swords drawn.
both swords drawn.
However, I'm only going to attack with one, and I'm going to declare on guard first.
Ooh. Remind me, for the theater of the mind at home, the style of short swords that Griller made for you back home.
So one is a machete,
Yes.
slightly longer than an average machete,
but single-edged.
Yeah, single-edged, and the other is a kukri.
Ah.
So it is that's in his offhand, which is
Okay.
his right hand,
Got it.
and
Kukris are
that's
ceremonial and used for beheading.
and they're also shaped very, very well for parrying.
Indeed.
So the machete and is going to be the thing he slashes in with first.
Tell me about that swing. In mechanical terms, I want to know what you roll. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I could just keep
I
asking.
can tell you about
I
it.
can keep
It
asking for
hits.
color all
Yeah.
night.
By the way, like the idea of like a post Skadian apocalypse where everyone's using kukris to actually as a dueling blade, that makes total sense if I think about what a post apocalypse would look like. Oh yeah, all these ceremonial swords, some other countries that SCA nerds got into, eventually filtered down into the post apocalyptic milieu.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I found them in a lot of vintage and antique places.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Roll to attack.
Oh.
Let's get this started right.
Oh.
Just hold
Yeah.
Hold on that barbaric.
And?
That barbaric.
Yeah, and
You
just
would
gonna
like
hold on
to
to
share
those.
your role with the rest of the class?
It's exactly what you really, really wanted it to be. That's a
Ladies and
critical
gentlemen.
hit. That is a critical hit.
Natural 20.
That is a natural
Excellent.
20.
So while you're rolling up that damage, I am going to check because we are rolling with the serious injuries on critical hits. So also roll me a d20.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so the d20 is a 10. I don't know if I'm modifying that at all. The 2d6s, one is a 6 and one is a 5. So that is 11 plus 3. That is 14.
All right.
And it was very much... this was a formal thrust. This wasn't even being fancy. I was just very much on guard. Thrust. I was
And-
expecting a fancy dodge. I was expecting a step around.
And you
but
are completely disappointed.
I was.
And that blade goes right in. She dodges just well enough to turn enough of the thrusting, stabbing damage into a hard impact. You hear a crunch from the direction of her ribcage.
The only way this could be more humiliating for her is if there was I'd say maybe 12-year-old girls on the sidelines who all immediately start laughing at her at the same time. Just a small pack of them, while at the same time their parents are there as well laughing at her and just...
Sorry, so how much damage again?
that was 14 points of damage.
HP minus 14. Ow. She got you a little, and you got her bad. So,
I pause and go, oh God, are you okay? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you that hard.
she takes a step back and puts pressure on with the hand that's holding the dagger.
I give her the space.
and
If she's stepping back, I'm not even gonna,
attempts the saving throw that she now must do every turn to successfully act in combat. Passes it. Does a bit of a Kylo Ren, like
Yeah.
smacking the wood, like checking how bad it is while also pumping herself up, and
Yeah, girl, you get it. Do this.
attempts to go ham with some swords on a man. So we're looking at, with that dagger, a sweet 6 to hit you, and with that rapier, a devastating 16.
16 hits.
Hey,
And that's with the rapier, right?
enjoy the scintillating sound, yes, of 10 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, that's better.
Now you're even.
Mm-hmm.
14 to 14.
Well, who knows what they started
Oh,
with, though.
yeah.
But they both did the same damage now.
Oh no,
that's romantic.
she's got me by Oh wait, she did 11 points.
Oh, you.
10 to you.
She did 10.
Oh, okay.
And then 3 points previously.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 13 to 14.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I was off. Sorry.
Then she backs up a step, not far enough to provoke an attack of opportunity if you wanted to take one of those, and shouts over her shoulder, "Call off the birds!"
Who's up next?
She also
We're all just like, oh, really?
she also hollers at the troubadour. I said to dance to, and he like jumps to the bridge, and appears to give a bit of a, well, remember how inspired you felt, Theo felt when Getty gave the pep talk. There's a glint of almost bardic inspiration about her as well.
Oh.
So then, Lando,
All right.
you're gonna
so let's
shout. What
Shield
you
of
doing about it?
Faith, which has a verbal a component, which goes like this. I believe in you, Theo. So does our whole town. And I burn a little piece of, welcome to Hill City paraphernalia.
A little bit of a tourist pamphlet from
Yeah, it's a small parchment with holy writing on it.
Is the original material component.
Yes, it is. And so that is Shield of Faith, which causes a shimmering field to appear around you and giving you a +2 bonus AC for 10 minutes.
okay, so +2
2 AC,
Okay.
Nice.
which would have protected you
Yeah.
if I'd gotten around to it earlier. But I have to on it, so
Yeah.
She shouts, she's losing her composure mightily, and shouts, "What the hell is going on?"
I still think it's disco lights.
Yeah, all the lights like just blinking. It's like surround sound.
Legit. Anything else with that grand old turn of yours?
Nah,
It's pretty good.
hang out, yeah.
Then it is crowd turn. The guide who had brought
Did I get a turn?
Lando. Did you get a turn? Oh, you didn't go after. Oh, you cast hold person,
Right.
Yeah.
and then it was Theo, and then it was
Right.
Theo's opponent, and then it was Lando, and then it's crowd turn, which includes the guide that brought Lando and Getty out, who is also leaning against the fence with his, staff in hand and his dog nearby, and turns to the two of you and says, she doesn't like that. And she's very important.
Too bad for her.
I'm feeling not liking her.
I guess she's gonna have a very bad night tonight then.
For your friends, that is the Duchess Morgan of Wallingford. She's the younger sister of the Queen.
There's a queen.
It's too bad for her then. Really, it's a shame.
You
may want to go.
You're right. I might. And so inside the soiree, less than 50 feet away, the crowd looks around, and a few of them have put together like, wait a minute, that young lady that threw all those shiny things at the birds is probably having something to do with these birds, and takes some action.
Oh.
Oh no.
The poodle's owner or companion turns to you.
I bet the poodle ratted you out.
Fucking
No,
poodle.
I have
She's
this
got-
natural Disney princess vibe about me. The animals love me.
She's got
But it's like the bad dog in Pocahontas.
Oh.
This is why you should
Oh.
have gone with the Yorkie, because they hate rats.
I'm thinking the older racist dog in The Fox and the Hound, the one that has the problem with foxes. And tries to explain. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
let's see if she's going to be nice about it or not.
Is this
Die.
roll for dog racism?
Well, no, I'm moving on. Almost. Never mind.
Problem with foxes. It's a Fox and the Hound thing. See?
True. And thank you for the offering, and I respectfully decline to touch it.
Hey, I've got a dish of problematic.
Oh man, I'm just gonna tuck right in. The no, doctor said I had to give it up. She gets in your face. She's got a hoop skirt.
No.
The one with the terrier?
The one with the poodle.
Okay. Okay.
She looks around, and the poodle looks up at her and at you and at her like you've just been straight ratted out by this dog who is not cool.
Okay.
And
Should have gone with the Yorkie.
hoop skirt, but like a nice dueling vest over that. She's got a pretty cool ensemble, and gets in your face and puts a finger in your face and says, "You need to cut that out because consequences reign on more than just the one person who the Duchess is having issues with."
Issues with? What are you talking about?
I mean and she backs up a step and pantomimes swinging swords. She looks as if her words are failing her a bit because she's suddenly very stressed and afraid of something.
How can we help?
Call off the birds.
How does that help?
And she flounces away. But the interaction has been noticed, and a few of the other people in the crowd are now looking at you. They haven't figured out what their play is going to be yet, but their faces are stormy.
Okay.
Oh, look, it's your turn. So,
Excellent.
what's up? What's your reaction? Or your action?
I thought that they were in a duel, so I thought I would add some flavor to it.
Is
Yeah.
this
Bro
internal or
flavor?
external?
This is
conversation,
internal.
right? Okay.
This is internal. A lot of people seem to think that some foul play has occurred, and I
Oh.
was not aware that that is what I was
Why?
engaging in. So, let's see. Nobody's telling me what's going on. They're just all very concerned. Does anyone look like they would tell me what's going on? Can I do a perception to find like somebody who looks like they actually know how to not just freak out?
Fennec, do you need a dog to explain to you
I need a
human
dog
interaction?
to explain human interaction to me right
Maybe
now.
that Yorkie.
Does
Yeah.
the guide look like his dog knows what's up?
Yeah, the guide is kind of far away from you right now, though.
Okay.
They're watching from the opposite side of the duel.
Okay.
Through the fences.
Trust the Yorkie.
Okay.
Yes, one of the people who turn to glare at you is the man with the messenger bag with the Yorkie poking out of.
Okay. Okay.
The dog is also glowering at you.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
But you don't need a perception check to figure out that they don't like this interference going on right now. So
I don't like them attacking my friend without provocation.
fair. Okay, so what's your play? What are you doing?
So I would like to talk to the Yorkie and be
Okay.
like, "Hey, why did this person attack my friend? And how do we get it to stop?"
Yorkie responds, "Oh, she gets to start a duel with anyone she wants." She's the top dog around here.
Do you know what the rules are for this?
Oh, it's until either she is satisfied or that the person that she started the duel with doesn't, like, rolls over and declares that she's won.
You gotta
You're-
show your belly.
You're barking back and forth with the dog right now,
I
and
am.
the row of people who have, like, the 5 people who've turned to face you are bewildered, but confused, and none of them are, like, taking action right now. They're
Okay.
weirded out by you talking to the dog.
That's perfect.
Also, are you currently just holding the medallion in your hands, or what?
The
Oh.
crow picked up the medallion. I haven't interacted with the crow again yet.
Okay.
So, if the crow makes it to me during this conversation, I'd like to look at what the brooch is to see if it's like a sign of a house or if it's just like if it's just an artistic like jewelry sort of thing.
Sure.
So I would like to do that.
It is a stylized raven.
Stylized raven.
Or crow, maybe. It's, they're real
want
close.
Okay. I'm going to trade the crow for one of the shinies I have in my things and
Uh-huh.
keep this brooch.
He wants a 2-to-1.
A 2-to-1? That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. I'm going to give him 2 sharks
All right.
for 1 raven.
It's like, oh, yeah, fish. That's right.
Yeah.
And he, like, is awkwardly balancing both of them in the same beak. Fish. And just takes off.
Excellent. I am going to ask his friends to like have a safe distance away so that it's like they're still like watching the group but not interfering. Like they're like it's still circling where it's like if you do something out of order, like this can change very quickly.
Sure.
So
Okay.
it's because this is her domain.
You're putting them on in reserve as opposed to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to show that they don't have all the power here.
I see.
Is the idea.
Whew, man, you great at first impressions. All right, Getty. So you're out there.
I'm a big bear, except with a lot of crows, like that. But like little and wispy with a lot of crows.
I am on the one hand, I'm kind of fumbling with like an air horn. I've just kind of set aside. I'm kind of like kneeling down, like with my back basically toward the fight near a post. Because of course I made my stealth check to kind of hide.
Yeah.
I put my air horn on the top of the post, and I.
Is this a physical air horn that you have, or is this a
Yes,
manifestation?
but we're
for a
going to be
spell?
using that as a manifestation, actually, of a class ability. But we're going to get to that once it becomes relevant. But I'll
Oh,
save
okay.
that for you until it becomes relevant.
Oh, thank you.
It'll be a reaction. So I've used my nanites technology to pull up like a cyber surgery computer, and I'm starting to fiddle with it. And that's me actually casting the Healing Word spell as a bonus action. And that is me restoring 6 hit points to you.
Oh, I'll take it.
It only has a verbal component, which is me just muttering to myself that will this damn thing work, because I haven't really had to use my emergency nanosurgery field kit for emergency repairs, but your wounds are closing up.
Nice. There is a shimmer of the nanites traveling and swirling around the wound.
Yeah.
I'm just covered in shimmer.
Again,
I feel like a burlesque performer again. Theo now feels like a burlesque performer.
You're like Cinderella when you're getting the gown from the
yeah,
fairy
I'm
godmother.
spinning around in circles really, really fast in the
Yeah.
dress. Yeah.
I'm actually
Theo Raleigh, we're gonna help you, Theo Raleigh. Oh,
Thank you.
I'm actually trying to do all this stealthily, so if there is a shimmer effect, I'm actually ordering my nanas to disperse and travel low on the ground.
Ooh.
I'm using something intentionally with verbal components, and the whole person, although it has those other components, I'm hoping the crow storm kind of
Crow storm-
dilutes the obviousness of the spellcasting.
It has been taken into account. Yes.
And that's when I grab the air horn and I just kind of have a moment. And then there's a small like nanite cloud to the left of the computer kind of holding up. I'm like, and I shove it in, and well, that'll be how I use a class ability for a moment here. And I say, I wonder, and I start fiddling with the computer some more.
All right.
And we'll get back to that when it becomes a reaction.
Okay. Is it a reaction that triggers off a prepared action?
It triggers off of anything anybody does, actually.
Oh.
It's a let me know after you give me you know what, I'll just let you know. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Cool. Trust you on that. Hey, Theo's turn. So you're shimmering. You got your Cinderella moment.
I feel fabulous.
So what do you do now that you feel fabulous?
So I feel like we're in the meat of the dance now.
Okay.
Like, we've done the initial passes. I gave her time after I wounded her deeply. Mm-hmm. Physically, not emotionally yet. And
No, that's what I've been doing.
and so now we're really into the dance, and it is time to strike, and really strike. So I am going to strike with both blades, and my main weapon, my offhand weapon. I'm going to add to my main weapon. I'm just going to add from guidance.
Ah,
You got this.
nice.
Yeah, okay, so that is 16 on my main hand.
That exactly hits.
Yes.
Good to know. And my offhand weapon is a crit.
Neat.
Yeah.
I really ought to just print this out, but which I will. I'm making some modifications to it as well. So give me another d20 roll,
Okay.
and then while I'm checking this table, you can do the math on the damage.
A 10 again.
A 10 again.
Yeah.
Great.
Should I re-roll since it's the same thing, or?
Or did she just start taking disadvantage in that check?
It's not disadvantage, but the DC goes up.
Okay.
It's upgraded from broken ribs to internal injury.
Yay!
I love internal injuries.
Says the doctor.
Yeah.
I gotta keep
It's-
myself in work.
It's respect for your greatest foe.
Yeah, yada da 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 da.
That. Okay. So it's,
Tell me a story about damage using math.
that is 15.
15. Ooh, all right. Ooh, carry the 10, Andrew. There we go. All right.
How's
She's
she
still
looking?
standing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the crowd, like, the swords go in, they come back out, the crowd goes, ooh.
It was very Scorpion style as well. Like,
You're realistically, in terms of just the dice rolls, you're actually probably making her look like a rank amateur. You're probably making her look like a punk.
Remember when you were really worried about this? Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
So,
I'm still really worried because she's now taken, what, 15 plus.
14, 29 points of damage, yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That would drop, I think, any of you
Yeah.
this
Not
level.
me.
Oh, well, except for... True.
You are a meat shield.
Tis her turn. She...
Has to roll to see if she can even do anything.
That's true, and that's now harder. She got it, but she spends her action to disengage. She'll bring her swords up and do one of those dramatic, like, sweep your blades out of the way and then dance back a few steps.
Nice.
I'm still like, every time I do these deep wounds, I'm giving her space. Like, if she wants to step back, I am not taking attacks of opportunity.
She says, well, she didn't know that. She hasn't read that from you yet. She does the dramatic sweeping disengage movement and steps back, and there's just blood pouring from under her vest. And she shouts, "Enough!" And there's a murmur through the crowd, and she turns and points her dagger at the minstrel and says, "I said enough!" And, like, the music dies down abruptly. And looks back at you with just, like, embarrassment and hatred across her face. Like, you know,
Hatred?
make an insight check.
Yeah.
19.
19 plus.
Oh, all right.
23.
She's trying to keep it together because everyone looks up to her, but you just made her look terrible. And you know that you've known the type that doesn't respond to that well, to being publicly embarrassed.
So I am going to salute. I'm going to salute with both blades very formally, and go. That was a wonderful sparring session. I'm very impressed with you. I mean, I've been fighting in the wilderness for a long time now, and I'm saying this really loud in the hope that she's going to save a little face. I've spent the last 5 years fighting in the wilderness against all sorts of foes, and you have done very well to stand up like this against me.
This is a good, strong, wise play that I also want you to back up with a charisma roll.
Okay.
Ooh.
If you're trained in persuasion, you can add that, but I don't think you are.
Nope.
Remember, you still got all kinds of
I got all kinds of
flavors
goodies.
of inspiration.
Yeah. You know what?
Champ!
You know what?
The champ.
Just because it's bard appropriate.
Better
It's
sa-
bard
Safe
appropriate.
than sorry. Remember, there's
Yeah.
no such thing as an expert.
Yeah.
So you're just faking it now.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
you're doing.
Okay, so right now it is at, because remember that's -1.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There we go. That'll do just fine. That is a 22.
Oh.
Look at this situation.
She's facing away from the crowd to face you as you're saying this, and her face, like,
And I'm in a very obviously practiced manner with a rag that is obviously dirty from lots of blood. I'm wiping my blades off while I'm saying this. Just to really sell it.
she says, first she mouths, thank you, to you, and then she bows, not the warrior's salute of the crossed swords, but sort of a courtly bow with the hands with swords in them swept out to the side, and says, what's your name?
Theo, pleasure to meet you.
As she puts both her blades away and comes and grabs you by the forearm and shakes.
And as she grabs me by the forearm, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on her.
Ooh. So you have gadget-powered powers. How does Cure Wounds look when you cast it?
So I believe I was playing around with how I was going to do this. Originally, I was going to have it as like for self. It was going to be a like
Albuterol?
inhaler, but I don't think that's really what's going to play out here. So I'm going to say I have a like a hypodermic.
You're just gonna stick her with a needle?
Sorry, not a hypodermic. Like one of the ones that just goes through.
Yes,
Like
a hypospray from
hypospray.
Star Trek.
Yeah, is what I was thinking. And I kind of palmed it.
And okay,
Yeah.
how much do you heal?
That's cocked.
That's cocked. That's cocked.
I heal 9 points of damage.
9 points of
Aw.
damage. Nice. How sportsman of you. Sportsman-like. Though this fight was not very sportsmanlike.
No. We really rigged the hell out of this fight.
She comes in, she clasps you as you're going in and delivering the healing effect. She grimaces and then says thank you. And you're standing close.
It was one of those like pull in grasps, I'm guessing. So we're like very much chest to chest.
yeah. Unless someone has a thing they want to do, we're out of initiative, by the way. So feel free to steal the spotlight again if I don't get back to you real quick.
Are there any flowers around here?
There are bunches of flowers, actually.
Could I have some crows pick up flowers and drop them over their heads?
Yes. Absolutely. You're like,
This is a special moment.
Ka, ka, ka.
I'm assuming it's like a mating dance or something.
And like you're speaking bird language again,
Yeah.
and like the row of people who are watching you confused while you're talking to the dog get agitated, like, oh no, not that shit again. And then when the crows who are now into it, like they've been kind of bored before, and now you gave him
Yeah.
a great time. Comply.
Okay.
Beefy
Thank
Crow
you,
has gone
crows.
off to enjoy his treasures, but
Yeah.
the smaller ones still want to gain your favor.
Yeah.
And yeah, they start snatching petals and raining them over the tennis courts. You're close, so you're standing in close. Theo is with the Duchess, and she says to you,
What
She
the
still-
fuck?
She still she still hasn't given me her name.
"That's true. Yeah, you haven't heard any of that."
Yeah.
She says, "Theo, the Duchess Morgan of Wallingford. The Queen's my older sister."
Once Theo stops writing that down, he replies.
Yes. Well, she goes on and says, "I think I'm going to need to get this looked at."
I highly recommend that. I have a guy. If
I'm now popping up with my doctor's bag, just kind of trying to hustle over, find a way around the fences.
She turns around and like puts an arm over your shoulders and addresses the crowd like, "Oh, bring her friends in, make them feel welcome. Don't worry, we'll have a rematch and more clearly articulate the terms to our guest." And everyone has like, there's a wave of relief over the crowd, and they chuckle with that oh so familiar anxiety release laughter.
Like people are going to get beheaded if she got angry?
A little bit of that
A
flavor,
little
yeah.
bit of that, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they welcome you back into the party, and the dog says to the little Yorkie says to Fennec, "You should speak to Old Bow.
Who's Old Bow?
Old Bow can also talk to animals,
Oh.
and he serves the Duchess's. You're not sure which word he's using to refer to the Duchess, but clearly indicates the Duchess's. He serves the Duchess's sister. But you smell like him. You sound like him.
Woof.
Woof. Good talk.
Terry, the terrier says to the poodle, like, so I tell her this, and then she says to me, "Woof" at the end. They're like, "Oh, did I just waste my time?"
So
I say thank you for recognizing that. Whatever, like aloha. Come on, like the same thing that means hello and goodbye. Like,
yeah,
Mahalo.
yeah, you get that. You get that woof.
that's what I was
You exchange those woofs. The trays of wine come back out, and there's someone with
That is now my definition of woof from now on, by the way.
it's just the standard greeting and goodbye. The one of the servants, the ones who are bearing the refreshments around, comes out with a satchel, like with bandages and stuff like that, and walks towards the Duchess as someone came and opened the gates and motioned towards Yolanda and Getty and sort of waved you over. Do you head toward gates?
Oh, I'm heading straight over with my bag out.
Okay. Your guide walks with you a bit, but he's like, "Well, I'm going to make my leave. I'm not exactly welcome at Court Avalon. There's a story. There's always a story. And thank you for giving me one more. I hope to see you again."
Lexi.
And his dog barks like happily at you, and he hefts his walking stick and heads off back in the direction that you came from.
I've been so inspired by watching Fennec that I barked back at the dog.
The dog looks very confused.
Dog just has like a big dopey grin on his face.
The dog, when
yeah.
you bark at the dog's like, "Yeah, man, arf."
I walk straight over to the cart. I put my bag next to the existing bag, open up my bag, open up the other bag like I was just expecting to. And I immediately pull out a flashlight and I approach the Duchess and I say, "Hello, I'm Dr. De La Cruz. Can I please examine you?"
And she says, and she's still got her arm around Theo, And then Theo notices that she's putting some weight onto you, but
Yeah.
like trying to make it look really cool. You know, like nothing
Yeah.
bad is really going on. If you're a bro in that respect,
Been there, done that. I know what's going on.
then you're totally pulling
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for supporting me. I'm so tired. This is my friend, Dr. Dela Cruz. He is a very accomplished healer,
Physician.
physician.
And she says, I'm sure you are, but
Privacy. I closed the 2 bags.
you can come with. Grab a cup. We will make our way to see my family's doctor.
I'd love a drink, but not until I'm off duty. I grab the bags. In the meantime, this should do you for now, and then I go ahead and I begin to cast Healing Word again. 7 hit points.
Nice.
I pull up my, you see, the little screen for my cyber surgery kit pops up as I quickly do some nano healing, flip it away in a matter of seconds.
Isn't your computer just like an invisible to everyone else UI?
Right.
Did
So
you
it kind of like
conjure
the
up?
thing appears basically, but I'm guessing during the spell because it's visible. There's verbal, somatic, material components. Since it's kind of vulgar like that, the UI will appear while I'm working on it.
Ah, okay. Cool. I want to go back into detailing that some more, but we can do that offline and bring it back into the show. Just because there's so many cool visuals like associated with that. So they
Here, won't you take my arm?
and she says, "I hate," as she does, and she says, "I hate to be indelicate, Theo, but are you important where you come from?"
Roll for deception.
Because when you meet my family, you might want to pretend that you're important where you come from.
I can pretend.
I would like it very much if you did.
Okay.
I'm right behind eavesdropping with a 25 persuasion check. I announce, "Are you kidding? Mr. Davis, Captain Davis is the captain of the Calamity Jane."
Oh,
I make it sound important, just like that.
Yolanda, do you go with them or do you mix with the soiree? Or
Oh, no, I'm gonna
assuming you're
follow
keeping
them.
the party together.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I'm gonna.
You are being appraised by some of the fighters who are in attendance. Like they're looking you over, and like you spot 2 like tall, heavily built, like armored, like they're the heavyweights and not the
Uh-huh.
welterweights of this scene. And one's got a longsword peeking out over his shoulder, and the other has an axe, like very similar in size to yours. And they're like pointing,
And I'm like,
And
finger
talking.
guns.
and one looks, one blushes, and the other makes finger guns back.
Yeah.
Before we head off, I want to leave treats for my bird friends. So if I have like any scraps of food or anything they would like, and some extra shinies, I'm gonna like leave some for them before we go.
the bird she rewards, the dogs can go fuck themselves.
Well,
The dogs are coming with us.
Are they?
with the other people's dogs,
There was one mean dog, and then the terrier.
you won the terrier over. Yeah.
The terrier and me could hang out, but we have only exchanged very small words.
The terrier is still hanging out in his owner's bag.
Yeah, so it'd be awkward.
So he's not really following you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The mean old poodle is just snooted off somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Followed it's their owner when their owner flounced.
Flouncing in the hoopla skirt.
So they lead you not very far, just to the south, across the lawns of the park. You notice the lawns of the park, there's a lot of tents, like festival-style tents up here and there. It's getting late, so there isn't much sort of daytime industry happening, but it looks like there's a good number of people that sort of congregate around this area, around this lake. And the common visual motif of them is they look a little old-timey. They don't look like warriors, like with the same sort of armor and flair that the duelists at the soiree did or had.
This is the nobility, the gentry, that they exist to prop up.
Actually, a lot of them look more workaday.
Like peasants?
Yeah, more like peasants. But like middle-class peasants, not like burlap dirt farmer peasants, if that makes sense at all. Yeah. But they're getting out of the way and shouting an occasional greeting to the Duchess. Also, you notice that you're followed by 2 more bravos from the party who sort of flank the group as you move between spots. And there's a big white 2, maybe 2.5-story building a bit south of the boathouse and the tennis courts where you just had the party.
In the middle of the lake?
No, the lake's on the
Oh, yeah, it's on the...
you're on the
west side.
eastern shore, so it's south. You're following the curve of the lake.
Okay.
Look, I'll even, hold on. You can't see this at home, but I'm just scrolling the Google Maps satellite view.
So we're going down to the swimming pool?
Basically, in that direction. There's,
The community center?
yeah,
Oh, okay. I'm very familiar.
the walls were white, haven't been washed super well or repainted, but there's murals up. And the motifs of the murals are crows, ducks, and what you might see in like old tapestries or paintings from like a medieval or Renaissance era of just sort of, like knights and lords and ladies and stuff riding around the countryside, pennants streaming from lances, that sort of thing. And you're shown in through a couple of attendants pull open these double doors and usher you into a lobby, and you're greeted by some more attendants and guards. And inside, the sort of architecture reminds you very much of buildings like the high school back in Hill City. Very like sort of serviceable, not too fancy, but they've been dressed up. There's paintings and tapestries and other textile arts hanging from the walls. Lighting is being provided by candles. And you're greeted by, again, a crowd of attendants, and then a man who looks to be about in his 40s, balding, scraggly beard, thick glasses, and a white coat, such as Getty is often seen wearing, with a bag, such as Getty is often seen toting.
Great.
And he bows as the entourage enters.
Does he look similar to this?
Why, yes, he does. Like when you first spot him, his resemblance to the sheriff is
Uncanny.
not, yeah, or perhaps very canny, as if this were the man you were looking for.
So we're all having our meet cute where we're both standing there staring at each other with our matching coats and bags. I look him in the eye and I say, "Your mother says hi," and that's not a joke, by the way. Your mother says hi.
Yeah, it does sound kind of insulting otherwise.
That's not an insult, by the way. We actually are here because your mother says hi.
She's about yay high.
We're from Hill City. I'm not kidding.
He is frozen, and he is shocked. He drops his bag with a thud, and a functionary behind him picks it up and like holds it up to where he can grab it again, but like he's still just sort of frozen, and says,
I put my bag down, and I come over and I grab his hand and I say, "Your mother's fine, and we're here to say that to you."
the fuck you say?" And he suddenly realizes he lost his composure in front of the nobility and turns to the Duchess and says, "I'm so sorry for..."
I save face by shouting loudly, "Your mother survived the apocalypse too." Because let's face it, that would be really shocking 30 years on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, "I'm afraid I'm going to have to get back to you about that."
I slowly start some applause to see if the whole room will start applauding. Let's make should I make a check with my social skills?
Sure.
Let's go with persuasion. Okay, well, there you go, 23.
What
Start
is with you tonight,
Oh,
George?
Yeah.
He starts to slow
We can't
clap,
actually
and
clap.
everybody else.
No, I go straight to the fast clap.
Oh, fast clap.
Everybody looks to the Duchess for permission, and she nods, and they all clap a bit. And then after several seconds of that, she does the wind down wave and points at her massively injured side.
And that's when I get up, grab the bag, and I say we have work to do.
And
In a minute.
And the doctor who you've just met, who you're pretty sure is Ansel Johnson, the sheriff's long lost son, says, "Yes, right this way," and brings the whole entourage through to a little room that looks like you've seen the nurse's office at the high school back in Hill City. Very, not as well equipped as Getty would prepare a working room, but pretty basic. Puts her up on the table and says, Her Grace would probably want some privacy, yes? And she says, "Yep."
I'll leave a healer's kit worth of spare supplies, and I'll say, let me know if you need anything. And I step out.
And she shouts, unless any of you try to stay inside, she shouts as one of the guards is pulling the door closed. She's like, "Make them comfy." And a page says, "Right this way, lords and ladies."
I've been walking her in,
Uh-huh.
like very much on her arm, the entire way up until they're like, "Oh, we need to clear the room," and then I'm like, just like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
As you are breaking contact, she squeezes your arm and says, "I'll see you in a bit."
Okay.
You still think this is a date, don't you?
Yeah. Think at this point, I know it's a date. Whether or not that knowledge is factual, this is a date.
You definitely scored by some
Yeah.
definition.
Some sort of scoring happening.
Yeah.
Full body contact. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touche. So
He put something in her.
Yeah. I have pierced her
Sorry.
heart in at least one way.
Oh,
And it wasn't even sheathed at the time.
Oh my god.
okay.
oh,
All right.
okay.
All right,
So
all right, let's rein it in.
on that note,
Can
they've shown you to a, like, you've seen like a cafeteria style room before, but this also, man, where'd they get all these nice rugs? Oh man, where'd they get all these nice textile arts for the wall? Oh man, who can make this many candles? Like, this is nuts. This is very cozy. It's got big bay door, or like bay window, French doors. That's the word I'm looking for. On one wall that are facing the lake, and those are open, and the evening breeze is coming in, and you can see some people rowing out on the lake, and they look like they're out for just like a pleasure cruise. Not
So no sea monsters? They're
You
not
don't-
hunting sea monsters?
at this moment. You don't see any sea monsters in the lake. Yeah, but thank you for asking about that.
Yeah.
And they bring in some plates and trays of some local fare, and it's things that look really similar to what you can find back in Hill City, like stone fruit, berries. You're like, oh wait, there's a lot of bread here. You haven't seen very much bread in a while because you don't have a lot of land and water to grow wheat.
They are royalty. We know they're well bred.
Hey,
Is there salmon?
oh yeah, there's totally salmon.
Oh yes.
There's salmon prepared like 3 different ways.
Oh, I'm probably like salmon. I haven't had salmon for
in years.
it's been years for me. Like,
And they fix you up with victuals, and wine and clean water and things like that. And
They just
while
have so much kombucha here, don't they?
there's a nice ewer of kombucha as well, and
With a little bit of SCOBY still in the bottom.
with while you're tucking in or not tucking in, through those French doors sweeps someone who looks like the Duchess's older sister. She's dressed in like an not quite identical dueling outfit, like a bit more reserved in the cut, but there's like gold filigree all over the place, and there are rings on her fingers, or like rings over her gloved fingers, with those like elbow length, like flared fencing gloves. And instead of a fancy hat with one side cocked up and a big feather, she's wearing a simple circlet of gold and silver with the occasional glint of a jewel in it.
And she walked underneath crows in this thing?
Yeah.
Fennec's going to change a lot of things in this town.
So this is official. I wasn't quite sure up until now, but now between the brooch, that fact, and everything else that we know going on, we're officially in the court of the Raven Queen.
This sounds like a D&D reference. Is this also like a metal reference?
No, it's just a D&D reference.
Because In the Court of the Raven Queen
Uh-huh.
sounds like a really good
Yeah.
album or or a single that goes on for about 12 minutes. But speaking of things that go on for almost 12 minutes, we're going to go to break. So the queen sweeps in and opens her mouth to say something really witty, and right before the words come out, it's like cut to commercial.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
But instead of commercial messages, we like to thank the people that sponsor the show.
Aw.
So join me, friends, in thanking a few really cool people, such as William_TW. Really happy, always happy to see that you're watching. Thank you for those $10.
Thank
And,
you, William.
William, also a person who maintains the fan wiki, which you can also access from the Twitch page. I am always he's one of the people I'm always happiest to hear from because he keeps poking me for clarifications on how to spell characters' names and stuff. And I'm like, yes, please be interested in that thing that I wrote. This is a reminder to check in to see if he has a alternate name for Hold Person. Thank you, George. He says, I'm just a little late and it's initiative time already. That went fast. Well, we did kind of just jump right into it. Mythalian, thanks for coming back and supporting again. Thank you for the $10 donation. They say, I've got an extra pair for whoever can find living orc. Fennec needs this. Oh no, a living orca. Fennec needs this example. Ooh, oh, that'd be devastating.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Now I'm picturing I don't know, like a glider or something with just an orca hanging from it. You swing around and chomp things.
Yes.
It's the final boss of the campaign is an orca suspended in a water tank that's bristling with guns, and it's going to attack Seattle.
Even better than the shark pirates.
Yeah.
Right?
Knox, thank you for the $15 donation. Knox says, Theo successful, wins the first date. We'll see about the second date, maybe. I didn't know you win dates. That's
Did you see?
Theo slays.
Real lady killer.
Yeah.
And our friend Mike Kozar, also thank you for the $20 donation. Mike, he says, post-apocalyptic Tinder has a lot more disco birds and stabbings than I anticipated. That is, gosh.
Wow, this brings a whole new definition to swiping right.
Yeah.
Oh. Does Getty have inspiration right now?
No.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to break for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back, and then there's going to be more Aloft to Post-Atomic Romance here on GeekSpaceTV. So see you in a few.
Bye.
And we're back. Welcome back to part 2 of tonight's episode of Aloft, a post-atomic romance. You're on GeekSpaceTV. I popped a cough drop into my mouth at like just the wrong time.
Oh, jeez.
All right, I'm gonna swirl it. We'll see how that works.
My recommendation is bottom right, outside of the gum cheeks, call center hack. You want to do it there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. Nope.
And you want to
Nope.
lodge it down there, like pack it in real good. This is the ideal spot.
It doesn't work quite the same as depth, but it's close.
All right.
You say you're from North Carolina.
I just add it to the way that I'm talking.
No, I think I'm better at like upper left. It feels a little more.
Okay, that's fine.
Secure.
Yeah. So anyway, we're back. Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm the Dungeon Master. We're back with our friends once again. Holly playing Fennec the Druid. No, I'm sorry. I said the wrong thing.
You guys actually have the words to look at, so it's easy
That's
for
true.
you.
It's
That's
like a
true.
personality
You don't-
jumble.
Yeah.
Right.
Jeez.
But if they're just listening, Monica playing Fennec the Druid and Holly playing Land of the Paladin, George playing Getty the Bard, and Corwin playing Theo the Ranger, and
Bard. Doctor.
I
Dr.
think that's
Bard.
all of us. If they're just listening, do we have distinct enough voices? Like, do you think that Monica and I blend? Do
I
you and
I don't think you blend even.
do you and
Does it
George
blend? No.
Will it blend?
Will it blend?
Will it blend?
No.
Voice
that is the
smoke,
question.
don't breathe this.
Sorry, there's announcements.
Yeah, some announcements. GeekSpaceTV, by the way, in case you're just tuning in,
Oh, is that where I am right now?
Yeah,
Oh, whoa.
is a nonprofit online broadcasting studio dedicated to improving diversity, inclusion, and representation in gaming and geek spaces. Some news for GeekSpaceTV is that there will be no shows this Friday or next Friday, but we're still going to have Aloft and Leviathan. Aloft, a post-atomic romance, is what you're watching right now, 7 p.m. PST, and Leviathan Distant Stars is on 7 p.m. PST on Wednesday nights. Saturday the 18th, that's this coming Saturday, is the 1-year anniversary of streaming. So expect the schedule to be released in the next couple of days. And if you're going to be at PAX, let us know on Discord. Various GeekSpace TV cast and crew will be on a bunch of panels, and we'd love to see you. So, also, I'd like to announce that we're back. And
And you found the player's handbook that was missing.
yes,
That
I
was
did.
cool.
That was pretty cool. It was a very eventful break. We hope that you also had a fun, eventful break. You should tell us about it in the chat, which I'll catch up on at the end of the show.
It was sort of the conclusion of like Hardy Boys mystery that we were having before the show, or about the It was the case of the missing player's handbook.
Yeah, and we solved it. And there was like no villain really, except for, I don't know.
Really, when you think about the fact that we're all constantly trying to struggle with ourselves and our own flaws and forgetfulness, we were the villain and the protagonist.
Yeah. Oh man, that's really mature.
It was a personal journey.
Yeah.
All right, personal journy.
It's a
After
lot
that,
like Last Jedi,
Yeah.
to bring it back around.
yes.
The most Marxist film to be released in the 21st century so far.
I really love this very mature take that George has brought. I'd like to bring it back to the game about sword fights on airships.
Let's get a sword fight at Green Lake, folks.
Dude, it was on a tennis court. Don't pretend.
Well, I mean, yes, you're right. So, sword fights and airships and talking cats.
And dogs and crows currently.
Don't forget
Right.
Crowstorm.
Yeah. Crow
And
storm.
there was a Crowstorm. Oh man, also, if not already a band name, ought to be.
Yeah.
Corwin, I see you picking up an envelope, and I'd like to catch up on a bit of business from a couple of sessions ago. There are these envelopes containing dreams sent by the leader, who is the giant psychic cat from Keystone, that you might remember from the first arc that we did this season.
He is in fact one of the Keystone Cats.
Yes, and they're, the leader's son, Tybalt, is the ship's lucky cat ambassador, cat bastard, or ambassador cat. And when they meet certain requirements, such as when Getty convinced someone to move to Hill City, or save the life of a stranger, that means you get handed the appropriate envelope, and told to open it. So we're going to go back. And what was the trigger for this envelope?
This trigger
Corwin?
was when you recover a pristine piece of pre-war high technology, take this envelope. The next time your character falls asleep, open this envelope, read its contents, and inform the GM that you are doing so.
So go ahead and open it. There have been a number of long rests since. that
However,
happened.
none of them have actually been on camera.
That's true. It's true.
I am opening the envelope.
We do like to watch you sleep, so it's very disappointing.
Just watch
I know,
you
yeah.
stroke your hair.
Yeah.
You can practice now if you want.
So
Right. So
so inside is a dream and a boon. You can read the dream out loud if you want, or you can keep it to yourself and we'll share it later. That bit is up to you. I feel like not talking for a few minutes, but go ahead and read it.
Okay. One morning, one of your siblings is taken away. You can feel the distance between you increasing. His voice in your head grows softer, shouting to be heard. Then, he is gone. Terror and grief rack your very blood. He is alone. You cannot feel his joy, his pain. He could be hurt, even killed, and you wouldn't know. He might already be dead. The five of you mourn, like you mourned for Mama, but worse. The next morning, you were taken away. You were put in a cage, and the cage in a van. The voices of your four remaining siblings grow softer as the distance increases. The second ride of your life, and the longest one, an eternity stretches out as the van carries you farther away. When you shout to them to hurt them, when you shout to hurt them, to punish them, the van swerves for a pawful of seconds. One of the humans injects you with something, and your voice grows too soft to hurt them. And then you are alone. For the first time in your life, or for as long as you can remember, you cannot hear your siblings. The humans carry your cage onto a great craft. An airship, you hear them think and say. The great Roberta Bondar, the humans delivering you call it. In the thoughts of the vessel's crew, the Bobby. You've seen its like before, crossing the sky far above you. Your cage is placed in a room with a window. As the airship takes off, someone gives you another injection. You sleep. You wake up to the blinding flash coming through the window. Seconds later, another one, then more. The lights go out inside the room. The droning noises of the engines stop. In the distance, a roar that grows and grows. The minds of the humans across the airship echo with terror and grief. The roar grows deafening. There is heat, tumult, chaos. The entire craft is seized by some great force and thrown spiraling to the ground. You lose consciousness. When you awaken, the room is broken. The cage is smashed open. You are badly hurt. The humans are dead, their minds silent. Around you, a forest. Like the park, like the room in the middle of the place you were taken to, but without walls or roads around it. And beyond, more minds and voices. Not humans. Not your siblings. Some sound like prey, some like predators. They cannot speak or listen in the same way as you, but you can speak and listen. Perhaps you're not quite so alone.
Dun dun dun. All right, and the boon.
The
What boon did you
boon
get?
is the boon of departure. After your turn, take another turn. Destroy this card after using this boon.
All right, so that's yours. No trading.
Yeah. I'm not going to put it with this one because that would get very confusing.
So I want to say, like narratively, like maybe no one's really seen to your wounds yet. Although you don't have massive internal injuries like the Duchess Morgan had.
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were
My first cast of healing word.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. The healing word. Yeah.
During the fight. Yeah. I'm still gonna like sit down and probably take a little bit of a nap.
Sure.
Well, and maybe spend a healing surge if I have enough
a
time.
Hit die. Hit die.
Yeah, a hit die.
There's enough time of low activity that we can count this as a short rest if anyone wants to do short rest type things.
Song of Rest will grant an extra 1d6 hit points to anyone who's taking a short rest just by dint of being around me. And we'll go around offering medical. So you don't even need to do anything to get an extra 2 hit points back just by dint of short rest.
Okay.
Nice.
I take a d8 plus 1 as well. So 2 plus. Yeah. It's 5 total.
Get all my bardic inspirations back.
So I wanted to say that narratively, like, because we didn't do the dream before in the previous 2 episodes, and we totally could have, and I'd spaced on it. Like maybe you just gaze off into the middle distance, and it cuts to that night when you had this dream and woke up. To
I think one of the
find-
lights is flickering, and that's what reminds me, and sends me into the memory, and it's the flash of the flickering light reminds me of the lightning,
Yes.
and then it just revolves around that.
Yes. Very good. And so you woke up and Tybalt was sleeping on your chest. Which,
Oh, that's where the wood. Okay. Hey, Tybalt. Thank you.
Oh, this is back several nights.
Oh,
before,
okay,
is what
yeah.
I'm saying.
How many hit points do you still need?
I still need 2, so I'm not.
Eat 2 good berries.
Okay.
Right.
Walk a
And
walk.
At
then
some point, I could lay hands on people, but
I
then
get 10 good berries a day.
the queen walks in. So you're there. There's some attendants here, but they've sort of melted back in, like, into the walls, as it were. And she puts up a hand as some of them start to step forward. She looks to be like in her mid-30s, a little bit older than Getty. But otherwise sort of the spitting image of her younger sister. But older, with more lines. And says, well, that was quite a fight.
I just need to check something for myself quickly. Oh, you were watching? Hi, nice to meet you. I met your sister. I'm Theo. I don't bow.
She takes just a second because it's been a long time since no one has reflexively bowed to her. And then steps up and takes your hand and shakes it.
I shake it.
It's very difficult to keep Morgan in her place.
She has a strong sword arm.
Yeah, we studied under the same teacher.
Oh, wonderful. Who was that?
You might get to meet him later.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, she just sits like on a table with her feet up on a bench and says, "What brings you to Seattle?"
And airship.
Crew of the Calamity Jane.
I believe our chief of security can tell you about that.
we are a trade delegation from Hill City, South Dakota. And we were interested in beginning establishing trading ties farther afield, and we heard that Seattle was an excellent place to do that. We have our airship over at the stadium currently trading, and we also had a message from our sheriff whose son had last been seen in Seattle at the time of the apocalypse.
Dr. Johnson.
Yes.
In other words, our business here is actually personal. We're simply here to extend our greetings to one of the members of your court.
All right. I'll be sending we do things with a bit of pageantry here
Ooh.
in Court Avalon. I'll be sending a herald to collect you and bring you to be formally introduced at court tonight. I just wanted to. I don't know. We haven't. It's been a while since a new town has had its coming out party. I just wanted to know what it's like out in Hill City.
Not as nice as this.
It's got its charms, though.
Obviously, she's absentmindedly held her hand out, and an attendant has come up and put a goblet in it.
We thank you for your hospitality, Your Grace.
Of course, we have plenty to spare. We run things very well here. I mean, I have a lot of help. Well,
Is Tybalt nearby, by the way?
make a perception check.
Perception check for Tybalt.
Is there a cat? Is there a cat?
18.
18. Yeah, Tybalt's around.
A motion towards Tybalt. Tybalt here is also part of our delegation, and that's not a joke
Oh.
either.
What a nice little. What are these? And she reaches.
I
for,
wouldn't if I would.
Yes, he's an ambassador from our neighboring city
That cat is sentient.
Oh,
and psychic.
I thought I felt a bit of And she gets down on the cat's level. The cat's standing on a table, and says, "You mind your manners here."
The cat is a prince, I suppose.
Yes.
Poor prince.
And I'm a queen. And she wrinkles up her face and boops his nose. Says, "Well, I'll send that herald along presently, or someone will delegate the task to." It's complicated.
It is a delicate situation.
Do you say that out loud?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay.
Theo is punny too.
I mean, according to my notes, I do have an inappropriate sense of humor.
She freezes up when she hears that.
Rankles a little.
It turns around and says, "My dad's going to like you." And then walks outside and back around the corner.
I believe Mr. By the way, on the way out, I say, I believe Prince Tybalt of Keystone is how I prefer to be addressed. At this point, I look at Tybalt, and it's clear I'm having a little fun with this.
He glares at you. Like he does
My response
when
is,
you're having a little bit of fun.
after all this time, after how much fun you've had at my expense, Tybalt, surely you can begrudge me this.
Cat shrug. Then another attendant comes from the hallway that they led you down before and says, the Duchess would like the delegation from Hill City to attend to her. This way, please." And you're shown back to the nurse's office, where she's out of her armor and bandaged up, and sitting up and smoking a cigarette. And you're like, "Wait a minute, I haven't seen a cigarette in 20 years." While the doctor is washing up, cleaning off instruments and supplies.
Is
How's-
it hand rolled or is it manufactured?
It appears to be hand rolled, probably. You honestly haven't seen one in 20 years.
I've never
So.
seen one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because you're not. Yeah.
Yeah. Two 19-year-olds.
Right.
How's
So
the
I
pa-
haven't seen one in -1 years.
How's the patient, and is that tobacco?
The doctor says over his shoulder, "She'll be fine. She just needs rest. She needs to abstain from dueling for a spell. And she's a little loopy, like she's been given a shot of something." And she says, "You know I can have you beheaded, right?"
That
And-
wouldn't do. We just found him.
Yeah, but he's good, so we don't want to give him up. And yeah, we're rich. My sister's the queen. We can get goods from all the way across the continent.
We're not here to take him away. In fact, he's going to offer any assistance for his practice if you need. He is welcome to return home for a visit. Is your practice here, Doctor?
And he says, with an air of rote about it, he says, I am the court physician and I serve at the pleasure of the Queen.
Do you require any assistance from home for your practice?
Yeah. Well, no, I...
Would you like us to take a letter to your mother?
I think, and he's like stumbling over his words a bit and having trouble figuring out what to say next.
Wait, I have a picture taking device. I want to take a picture of you
Oh,
to
Like-
show your mom.
a camera?
Yeah. It's a Polaroid.
Good, yeah, sure. And he turns around and he's like not sure how to...
I put my arm around him and do a peace sign.
He's like nervously like finger combing his beard and...
I step forward and make a charisma check to quickly groom him and make him appear to look like a proper gentleman.
You don't need a charisma check for that. Your reassuring bedside manner is top notch. So,
Tell me when. I'm starting to get impatient.
You're a qualified physician who served in a court and not been compromising in even hard situations. You can survive a photo.
were you putting the peace sign up? You said,
Yeah.
Holly? And he looks around nervously and is like, "Is that what you?" And he puts it up too.
No.
Oh.
Look formal. Look
Okay.
dignified.
Stand straight.
Now give a little smile for your mom.
And he starts to give a smile. And if that's when you take the picture,
Daddy, tell me when.
Perfect.
Okay. Click.
and there's a flash and the sound of the picture rolling out of the Polaroid. And you caught him right before he just starts to weep.
Aww. I hug him.
He leans into it and is sort of blubbering out like, "I'm sorry, Your Grace, I need a..." And from the leaned in the corner, she says, "It's fine. Go make friends. I'll be all right. Here, Dee needs you. Do your thing."
Chief, you might want to tell him about his mom.
Yeah, come on, let's go talk about her.
I'm standing.
Here's the photo.
Oh, thank you.
I'm standing awkwardly near the Duchess.
So do I shake it? Does
Do-
that help?
With Theo standing awkwardly near the Duchess. She's like she's found the perch on like the exam room bed that's like the cool pirate hanging out like at the docks, like smoke in one hand, like one knee up, and I don't know how to visually describe it exactly, but she's figured out how to look cool and nonchalant
I'm
in
very
every
impressed.
situation. And she reaches out and a little awkward, not awkward, what's the word? When you're slow because you're drugged, because you had the surgeries.
Anesthetized?
Yeah, numbly,
Numbly.
Yeah.
clumsily. There's the one. Like hits the corner of your sleeve and is like, "Where'd you learn moves like that?"
Oh, that's just training that we did. I mean, that's how we get ready to go out and fight all the monsters and the robots and the cannibals.
Monsters and robots and cannibals.
Oh my!
All right, let's hit the canteen then. Here, give me your arm.
I give the arm.
This is when I act like the obnoxious third wheel. Duchess, I cannot advise drinking in your current condition.
I was wondering.
and like just weeping into like your armor, into Lando's armor. Dr. Johnson agrees. Good, yeah, don't no, at least 24 hours. Doctor's orders. Fine. And she leads the procession right back to that same room you were just in where you met the Queen.
It's not that big of a building, guys, okay? It's,
It is a lovely community center.
yes.
It is, but there's not enough room in the hallway for the entirety of the procession.
I pictured the infirmary as being in the current pottery room. I know the center very well.
Deep inside Seattle Cuts.
Yes, yes. We could talk about the dance room in the top, the toddler room, the pool.
This is the OK Computer, OK Not OK reissue, okay,
Okay.
of Green Lake commentary.
So they bring you back to that, and the attendants are there again, and like they bring out the full reset of all the platters, and the Duchess says, "Oh yeah," and just like awkwardly stuffing things into her mouth and occasionally missing and getting like fruit pulp down one side, and then wiping her face with the tablecloth instead of the napkin that is provided.
Still very punch drunk.
Yeah.
Sounds
And-
kind of like Vicodin, actually.
Right, but who sits down with the doctor?
I do. I'm the one who knows his mom best, and I want to tell him how much his mom has missed him and how worried she's been and how happy she'll be to hear that he's doing so well while quietly trying to pump him for information about these people and why are they so rich.
Awesome. So he composes himself mostly. Also, I forgot to mention, you got rambled at a lot by Aster, the guard, or the guide who took you from this stadium bazaar to here. So, like, you functionally, both Yolanda and Getty are proficient in history for purposes of making checks about contemporary Stranger Seattle. So, by the way. Yeah, and he tells you
Is there going to be a cool Shadowrun crossover?
that'd be spoiling things.
Ah!
That's the spin-off season.
Oh.
So he tells you his story, and it's that he was in Seattle when the bombs fell. He fell in with some gangs, basically, for the first few really tough years. He was really dedicated to learning medicine, so he was fine. Like, he was a really competent physician, relatively speaking, and was able to keep some very important, dangerous people alive, and that kept him safe. And that he then got his contract sort of got traded without his permission to the Babylonians, who are the sort of techno commune thing going on in over in
Redmond?
They also have a smaller complex in just south of, sort of southwest of the stadium where you parked. And he got sent over there to work, and they worked him like a dog and kind of treated him like property. And then he got traded again when his contract was bought, and he moved to Court Avalon to be the court physician for Queen Juliet and her family. And since then, he's been here, and it's been pretty good. Life's been better than it's been before, but you pick up, like, I'm not going to make you roll the insight because you have the inside scoop because you're his mom's protege. He does feel pretty constrained by the fact that, like, he's basically like a feudal servant. He's owned by the royal family here.
Yeah, so do most people have a contract that's people own them by?
No.
Oh.
If you want to live in lands controlled by Queen Juliet, you swear fealty. And as I swore as a condition of coming out to work here.
But she can sell you your fealty?
No, she's promised not to.
Oh.
And she's never broken that promise.
Yeah. Is there somewhere you would rather be?
I mean, I'd love to see home. What's it like? And he starts asking you questions about
Yeah.
like what life in Hill City has been like, how his mom has been doing.
She's been the glue that held the whole community together.
Yeah. And so you spend the next bit, I think, trading stories, and he's asking you a lot of questions, specific things about like, oh, do you remember so and so? And occasionally the answer is yes, and occasionally the answer is no.
And occasionally the answer is they died 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And so is there a sense that like how much it would cost to rent him for like a couple months?
It's that you would need the consent of the queen
Okay.
because he is her personal
Yes.
court physician.
Yes.
And that there are other doctors who are loyal to this family. Like he's kind of really good at it. Mm-hmm. Like he's got people that work for him that might be better surgeons or better chemists or whatever. But like he's the one who's kind of the most good at all things. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
He's got medical staff?
yeah.
All right.
Jealous.
He oversees the.
You have medical staff.
I have nurses. He has doctors. He's a
Well-
chief physician.
How are they so? What makes them so rich?
Well, is there a solution to post-apocalypse?
They're rulers of a very stable kingdom.
Oh.
And they collect taxes from the people who live in their lands. And, you know, benefits flow up and protection and services flow back down. But they're on top.
Okay.
Sometimes people.
Well,
Okay.
Theo seems to have made a friend, so we'll see if we can get a boon for you to go on vacation.
And he, like, quiets down at that. Like, he's so overwhelmed at the notion that, yeah.
All right.
And the Duchess is just sort of rambling at Theo.
Yeah.
And asking questions about, like, where'd you get those moves?
I'm guessing she's not even really waiting to hear the answers before she asks me another question, much like someone who's on pain meds. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
So I'm doing the like this is the most attention a woman has ever shown me, except for in a professional setting. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of doing the lost puppy following rounds thing that boys do when they're infatuated and in their late teens, early 20s. Is very much what's happening. So I'm trying to explain. Oh yeah, no, we had. I remember this one time we had this sparring session, and oh, you want to know about the other thing? Yeah. Oh, this is Peregrine. Peregrine is my drone. Yeah, a drone is like a robot that I can control.
I know what a drone is. I'm not dumb.
And so, but I'm guessing
I
that
like swords because they're cool, not because they're primitive.
swords are really cool. I prefer bows. Bows are really my thing, but yeah,
Old-fashioned, classic.
and silence.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that all goes on until someone in a nice outfit with big poofy sleeves and a poofy hat, accompanied by a bodyguard in much less nonsensical, much less poofy modern gear, says, "Right, then, are you the delegation from Hill City?"
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and he pulls out a notebook. Says, "How am I going to be introducing you? I heard you have a captain, or pilot. What is your..."
Am I captain? Captain?
No.
Okay.
Captain Theo Davis?
Captain Theo Davis.
Theo Davis.
Of the Calamity Jane.
Right. I have that from the registry at the Grand Bazaar.
That's
Not
Yeah.
a notebook, actually. He has a tablet,
Okay.
which,
Ooh.
and you've
Ooh.
seldom, if ever, seen a working tablet computer.
I'm staring and wiping the corners of my mouth.
Wiping the corners of your mouth. Yeah.
You have a nanotech
Wait.
with your virtual.
Biscuit doesn't. I like getting him toys.
Oh.
I'm subtly, well, not yet, but this is something I'm going to be doing next time we're not in a big
He's
public
old.
space, is I'm going to use my ARM device to check for Wi-Fi. If there's one tablet, I need to check for Wi-Fi. But not yet.
Not yet.
I'm going to wait until we're not in the middle of we're not surrounded by people.
Okay. Okay, and you with the doctor's coat? Are you a doctor? What's your
All right.
bag there, buddy?
I'll simply be introduced as Dr. Roldo de la Cruz, Chief of Medicine, Calamity Jane.
Is that Geraldo with a G or a J?
G.
G. Okay. I'm sorry. What was that title?
Chief of Medicine.
Chief.
Well, I guess my Chief of... We never really established my specific title. I'm really more engineer at this point, but Chief of Medicine, I guess.
Stick with the things. The doctor.
Yeah. Do you go by deputy or do you go by Chief of Security?
Let's go with Chief of Security.
Because then you get to be shorthand for Chief.
Chief of. Ooh, Chief. Sorry, this is Andrew speaking, not the character. Like, oh, that's got a ring to it.
Chief Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And by the way, Fennec is clearly our science officer. 100% of all that cool shit you're doing with plants and botany.
I'm Fennec.
Fennec. Anything else? Just Fennec?
You have a last name.
My family's name is Deerheart.
Like the hearts of deers?
Dyrhardt.
Okay. Fennec. All right. Do you have a title like something?
Science officer.
Science officer? Is this you? Are you a science officer?
I like plants and animals.
All right. I'm gonna put you down for science officer.
Fennec is definitely a science officer.
It's gonna sound more impressive.
I trust you. You look like you know how to write things down.
Yeah. I do. Thanks. We got good schools here. And I'm sorry, what Chief? What was your name again? Chief Coleman? Mm-hmm. Just Chief Coleman.
Yolanda. Coleman.
Yolanda. All right.
Give me time out. Because I'm dying. I'm dying.
You know, I want you to know,
I'm so glad.
he went to Herald School for like 5 years to learn how to write down people's names, and y'all are just mocking him.
He's literate and everything. It's great. This guy hands they make. He knows how to he knows how to use one of these.
He does.
Not afraid.
He looks no older than Fennec or Theo, but he's already got the
Officious.
busy, officious functionary thing down.
That guy's got class levels and bureaucrat. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The
All
pen
right.
is mightier than the sword for red tape.
The claim of the class ability is just the pen is mightier and this is an action.
Yeah.
Remove one bureaucratic obstruction.
It's like, great, looking forward to it. You've got, and he like pantomimes checking his wrist, and then he stops and looks at the tablet. Yeah, so if you want, all right, so I want to know how you want to play this, because you have an opportunity here. You can either be there when the queen and her family show up, or you can show up a little bit after and be introduced.
I think Corwin thinks that having like the formal introduction with the bugles and the big introduction as we walk through the door, and the queen and the court are sat there and politely clap for us.
We'd like to be introduced.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, then in that case, 45 minutes. Hey, come with me to the window, please. One
This
of
is
you.
when I check for Wi-Fi.
Okay. There is Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi?
It is secured.
It's secure. It's
You
secured.
don't have the password.
It's secured.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Getty,
Yes?
have you checked your Wi-Fi?
No. Why that? What the? Right?
There's a network.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What is your Wi-Fi password? I haven't had to say that out loud in 15 years.
I didn't know other people had them.
They're real.
I've got one in the shop, but I don't have.
Court Avalon guest, password guest. You. Come
Thank
with
you.
me. And points to Lando. Go over to the window. He's like, you're going to want to be right there. And he points at a building across the lake. Probably take you about 15 minutes to walk there.
And then we'll hang for 30?
Yeah, well, or you can, time it so you show up when I told you to.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Great. Y'all look pretty good. Just, polish your buckles and straighten your collars, that sort of thing.
You were fantastic.
Oh, thank you. It felt kind of easy, to be honest. It's like, I mean,
When is
what
the
those
proper time
buds?
to request
I
booze?
was regenerating once.
Oh, that makes sense. I was getting ready.
Probably after you offer tribute.
Oh, do we have tribute
Or-
on us?
Or if you can declare that you've done a service. Those are great. Those are the best time to ask for boons.
All
If you
right.
go in asking for a boon or a favor, then you end up owing then something. And that's not the worst.
All right. Do we have any good trade goods on us?
We already just accomplished a great quest coming to this court to inform. Well, I don't know how much mileage we can milk out of the goodwill of informing. It's a very touching story. How often do you hear of that
It is
happening
a
these
touching
days?
story, but we're going to be asking for the boon of giving him a month off to go and visit his mother, and so I think it needs a little bit more gift giving.
I believe
I'll
in you.
offer
This will be
myself.
great. And the herald or whatever functionary he is pats Lando on the shoulder and walks off.
All right. We can fix things. We can do feats of strength.
I pick up my pack, put it on the table. I'm like, I brought some shiny stuff we got from the last place, and I have like a revolver and a couple of other like things that I picked up that could fit in my bag that were small enough, like knives and stuff.
No, none of that is
Looked really
worth as much
pretty.
of as a doctor. In fact, the only thing I can think that we could trade it for.
Can we leave you as a hostage? I mean, tribute?
I believe the technical term is guest internist. I could be left here and practice for a month while.
Wait, we're trying to trade for a doctor?
Well, we're just borrowing him so he can see the sheriff.
So we can go on vacation. And we'll arrange for someone to cover his shift while he's away on
Why-
vacation.
We
Why
do
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 have.
you want to stay and learn if that was really going on?
Why don't we offer to take one of the royal court to visit Hill City?
Yeah, like the Duchess. I mean, yeah, maybe
Like
the Duchess.
yeah.
Sounds good. We'll offer passage, and we'll see if the doctor can come, and if they're, we'll say, well, Getty would like to study.
There's one problem
What?
here. There's no way I could stay here without Biscuit.
Oh, well, maybe we'll make the arrangement, and then Biscuit can come. Oh, maybe he can foster here and learn their ways.
No, Biscuit stays with me.
You know what we do have?
What do
Got
we
a
have?
bunch of medical supplies. The extra stuff that the town didn't need that we brought here to trade.
It's not worth a doctor, though. It's an extra pair of hands.
Well, I mean, I figure
I don't mean to be
it's-
inflating my own worth here.
Well, I mean, it's like in the same spectrum. I guess they probably don't want cement.
I think it's a good idea.
Duchess speaks up. I'll sweet talk him for you.
Thank you.
We have a lot to offer, as you can see. We have many
Yeah.
different angles. We could.
She can talk to animals.
I did not realize she was still in the room.
You gotta meet old Bao.
I would love to. A terrier
Yeah.
told me I should meet him.
She trails off. Yeah, you ought to talk to old Bao.
Duchess is like, yo, there's one person who's high in this room, and it is I. Step off.
Hey, do you want to go to Hill City?
Huh.
Crusading robot Templars, talking animals,
Dinosaur bones.
dinosaur bones.
I can show you who taught me how to fight.
All right, well, okay. All right, well, okay. All right, well, see if we can talk.
Ranger
you can meet
Conclave.
telepathic animals.
Can talk my sister into letting me leave the city.
Ranger
Yeah, take
Conclaves.
your doctor with you, so you'll be safe.
Ranger Conclave's frontier sheriffs. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I used to travel myself.
We should probably get hobbling. And she gets up off the table and like is walking stiffly towards the door.
I'm supporting her arm again.
Ah, well then she moves a little bit faster and more comfortably.
All right, we'll put her in for the thing, but then we get coming in 45 minutes for our big announcement.
Yeah. So I'll drop her off at the head table and then come back and like
Okay.
sneak out so they don't see me, so I can be introduced properly.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so you get around the lake and she's handed off to some guards. She's like, the ironic thing is that I use the back door and you get to come in the front.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's probably best. I don't want the people to see me before I'm introduced. That would just not be.
He's
the
like
way
the
things-
bride at the wedding, you know? No one can see him before he comes in his big shiny outfit.
Which is also the noise that the Duchess is making as she's being led off to the official royal family parts of whatever this
The
building
noise
is.
you're making, George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a monster who makes funny noises.
So the building, according to the signs that haven't been fully replaced, it looks like it was an old theater. It's not as big as this building you just came from, the old community center. But it's got more tents up around it, more guards and attendants and whatnot, and you can hear music and booming voices coming from inside through the open doors. And the herald who was speaking to you earlier finds you and is like, "Oh, great!
1 second.
Oh,
I'm realizing that I'm just about to meet the family. And so
first date, something.
meeting-
All right.
Yeah, being introduced to the family, to the entire community, and I'm just realizing that that's real, and I start to panic. And so I turn to Fennec, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm going to meet the family, and I need to look impressive. Do you have anything that will help me look impressive?"
Can you make
You'll
the
be
birds
fine.
do the
Bardic
flower trick
inspiration.
again? That was crazy.
Like, do you have any shiny jewelry or anything that I could wear to like really draw the eye?
Don't wear the brooch that your crow stole off the Duchess. I know.
I don't know about the brooch. I don't know the brooch is
Nobody
in her
knows
possession.
about that.
Well,
Yeah.
other than the crow and the crow.
The crow knows that the crow has 2 shark pins now.
Yeah.
I physically grabbed and straightened him up. Bardic inspiration.
Oh, nice. So you say inspiration restored.
Yeah, so you can have guidance from me.
Okay.
I don't know how I would give that to you. Let me see.
Fuss over him. Start combing his hair.
See, I would more likely just like ruffle his hair. Be like, "You're gonna be fine."
Let me know if
So
you
he straightened my hair out, and you come up and ruffle it again. Yes.
need any smiting. I can
Okay.
smite something, if that would help.
Smile. Okay. All of a sudden, I pull out my. I'm assuming mending. I just quite simply pick his teeth. There you go.
Come on, guys, you're on, says the man with the tablet.
Ah.
Stand in front, be really important.
And he's walking backwards a bit as you're coming towards the open front doors, and he says,
And we're walking, and we're walking.
he's telling you, like, now don't sweat it too much. You're new. You're not going to be expected to know what the etiquette is. When you think of it, if it seems appropriate, go ahead and bow. Address the Queen as Your Highness. Address you can also use Your Highness or Your Grace for the Princess Mother and the Princess Father. You may also use Your Grace for the Duchess, unless they have indicated you're allowed to use greater familiarity, in which case I will step in and let you know that's happened.
So grace is a general term, and the other terms are
Majesty.
majesty for the
Majesty or Highness.
What do we
Will
call
work.
you?
I am the herald.
Oh,
And
I announce people, and I give them the occasional kick in the shins when they're saying something they're not supposed to. Don't worry, you can count on me.
Sir is fine.
Huh?
Sir is fine.
Oh,
thanks,
absolutely.
Harry.
Harry, I haven't gotten that one before. So,
Oh.
We've rolled general charisma checks to reflect our general
charismatic nature.
Or, yeah, our understanding of etiquette.
Interesting.
I was just going to do something so I knew how to roleplay this one going in. I wasn't actually attempting to do anything. I was just setting up my own perspective on roleplaying it.
Okay, cool.
What'd you get?
I got a 16.
It's pretty good. Feels like a confident day for Theo. We'll see how that plays out. So, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to announce you, and after you hear me say announcing, go ahead and walk right on it. Cool. Cool?
Cool.
All right. And he steps through a door. There's a curtain a heavy, like, velvet curtain that falls back through the double doorway, leading into whatever space beyond. And you hear muffled through it, announcing.
All right.
Captain Theo Davis of the Calamity Jane, Dr. Geraldo de la Cruz, Chief of Medicine, Yolanda Coleman, Chief of Security, and Fennec Deerhart, Science Officer. And as you push through the curtain, it's sort of a theater space with there are chairs and benches lined up in rows facing down towards the stage, which is only very slightly elevated. And there are some nice there's a fancy high back chair that the Queen, who you just met, is sitting in. A little bit off to the side, there is a nice wood and velvet stuffed couch that two older people in hand-woven nice robes and heavy ornate chains around their necks are sitting. It appears to be a man and a woman with a bit of a family resemblance to the Queen and the Duchess. And sitting in a chair behind and off on the other side from the Queen is the Duchess Morgan, looking a little bit less loopy than when you left her. You shuffle in, and a whisper from the herald who's off to the side says, "Great time to bow."
All right. Bowing.
Big bow right at the stage. Like, when I hit the stage, I'm guessing as we were announced, we were just walking in and kept on walking. And so when I hit the stage, I bow.
The Queen speaks. The Queen inclines her head and says, "What news from Hill City, travelers? What brings you to our court?"
Trade and diplomacy, Your Majesty.
Also introducing, says the steward, in a voice that sounds like this idea is just kind of coming to him. The Prince Tybalt of the Empire of Keystone. And behind you, the glowing ossicone-like structures on his head, glowing with a soft violet light. Taking his sweet time, pads Tybalt.
Tybalt just spoke through the herald.
And he moves between you all and sits in front of you, facing the thrones, etc.
And our
There's a murmur.
ally from the Empire of Keystone.
We would like to take this moment to assure the court that the Empire of Keystone, although quite small to consider itself an empire, is not a joke.
Welcome to our court, Prince Tybalt. And then she just starts laughing. And who are probably her parents off to the side, they start laughing too. Nervous laughter washes over the sort of... There's some people sitting in these seats off to either side, facing the thrones.
I walk up to Tybalt and just say, Did you just tell them a joke?
Tybalt is in full imperious mode and looks you in the face and then looks back at the Queen.
And I whispered down, political power grows from the edge of a manifestation.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Political power grows from the edges of your manifestations. Powers.
We will receive you later, Prince Tybalt of the Empire of Keystone. So trade and diplomacy. Tell me, why should the Kingdom of Seattle be interested in trading with according to my notes, and she's pulled out, no, she doesn't pull out. She reaches out and an attendant places an atlas in her hands, and she opens it up to a marked page. She says, "Oh, look at this," and she just starts rattling off, like, population only a few thousand, and that was 25 years ago. We've had a war since. Local industry is practically non-existent. Tourism, few can afford to travel for such things.
Well, obviously, as you stated yourself, your information is currently 20 years out of date.
My understanding is this neighborhood itself was primarily for leisure before the war.
Indeed. And in some ways it still is, and in others for industry. What have you made of your land? What have you made of your home?
Prosperity. Living people, living without a fear of brigands. Defending ourselves from robots, others who would do us harm. We have a sustainable farming community who is ready to begin trade of such things as our wood handicrafts, the medical supplies that we are developing there, and bringing news of the Great West.
Our new port does offer new opportunities for salvage operations in previously unreached areas. We've now been able to open up our own airship port, and it's fully fledged. We've in fact already repaired several other ships.
And Prince Tybalt represents only one of a number of allies that we have created, many with influence across this continent.
I know he does appear to be a house cat, but he actually represents a large martial force.
Also, we are very good at fighting, and if there are any sea monsters that need clearing, we would be very happy to offer our services.
Theo looks incredibly enthusiastic about this as well.
Sea monsters.
I have a dream, Your Majesty. I have been living in a landlocked place my entire life.
Getty's laughing so he drops his doctor's bag.
And I heard of the sea. And I heard that there might be such monsters in it.
Demonstrations of our martial prowess are available upon request.
And I pledged my axe
And my bow.
to clearing any sea monsters that threaten the kingdom of Seattle.
Theo is taking this just as seriously as Lando is.
The queen gets to her feet and she claps and says, let our people be friends. I can help you find this. I can help you find this fight. So, and she steps forward and sits at the front of the stage. And there's a bit of a murmur like, oh, here she goes again. She's like, all right. Well, she doesn't gesture for you to sit, though, but she's closer. She says, okay. This is ordinarily the part where people from smaller territories would try to impress me with a gift, something unique. But I already got something. I saw my sister get her ass kicked.
It's one of our specialties.
And it's loud enough that, like, it's conversational, but, like, it's loud enough that many people heard this. The Duchess Morgan is sort of glowering at that mention. She says, and that... All right. in all fairness, it's not easy. So we should be friends. And as for the matter of my court physician, who she snaps her fingers, and he steps out from the wings onto the stage, looking very nervous and clutching his doctor's bag. That may be up for negotiation. We will make you guests of Court Avalon this evening. And would you be willing to avail yourselves of our hospitality until noon or so? According to my steward, and someone dressed similarly to the herald, also holding a tablet, steps out of the other wing and nods as the queen glances back at him. That's the earliest full appointment that I have. Sound good?
Excellent, Your
Yes.
Excellency.
Ooh, excellency. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one in a bit. And her mother says, "Careful. Not now, Juliet." And she says, "All right, fine." Gets up, sits back on her fancy chair, says, "Dismissed."
Okay, we tromp on over to one of the open seats to watch the rest of the.
Oh, yeah. You're tromping on over, and that your herald sort of intercepts you. He's like, "Well, you can stay and watch, but this stuff is actually kind of boring."
Okay.
Kind of boring. I mean,
Is there a reception area where we're supposed to go to actually pass the time then? Is that the idea?
that's an excellent point. Sit and watch the boring show.
Boring show.
Theo went to go and sit by Morgan. However,
There's like-
he goes to step forward and he looks, and
and
Morgan sat by herself in a chair
Yeah.
that is very obviously by herself.
Yes.
So he realizes this and kind of turns around abashedly and goes and sits with the rest of the.
And as you step up, you see her, and she's giving you a, like, nope, 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 like, wave off.
Yep.
Like, nope.
Yep.
Yeah. She puts a few minutes, about 15 minutes later, your herald comes back to collect you. He's like, "Okay, I have your accommodations lined up. If you need, I can send messages back to your ship or any parcels. We have use of one of the royal wagons tonight."
Could you send for the physician?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to have a quick
I
conversation.
will. I will see. And things are actually already winding down. There's a lot of what you've observed in the last 15 minutes is that it's mostly these sort of appointed minor nobility of various neighborhoods are showing up to present gifts. In a place where everyone else who is minor nobility can see what gift was presented, so they can all like have these gift measuring contests.
Do we have a sense of like how big her kingdom is?
There's about 30 counts and so-called counts and countesses in this room.
Okay.
Make a history check with proficiency because you heard a lot of blabbing.
Mm-hmm. And what would history is based? Okay, all right, got it. So proficiency, and then -1, and then 19.
And then 19. Sorry, so it's 19 after all the math.
Yeah. There's just adding and subtracting happening.
So old wise Aster had told you that the kingdom, what they call the Kingdom of Seattle, which other people call Court Avalon or the Avalonians, really extends from north of the lake that separates this part of town from the downtownish parts. Goes north all the way through many old suburbs, past up through a place called Linwood,
Oh,
and then east towards the northernmost part of the lake to the east.
oh,
They also have holdings in the smaller towns outside of the city to the east, where they place very trusted lieutenants as the local nobility, so they can do things like raise horses and cattle and have access to the kinds of resources that make you really look fancy, but need a lot of land for.
Wow, that's actually fairly good size.
Yes, they are. They don't have. Astor went on to tell you that, like, well, they don't have a lot of fancy airships or like a big military per se, but their citizens are loyal. There's a lot of them, and they're good at making small, good things. It's sort of like a pastoral life, but the queen and her family are very canny, and bad things happen to those who cross them.
Why is the queen and not her mom or dad?
Never be the puppet, always the master.
And the flashback of this conversation with Astor ends right as you're rolling up to the party.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, that's a very interesting. What's going on over there?"
What? My little dream Aster.
Your little Zoroaster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
They
I prefer to think of him as my Chip Aster.
Harold ushers you out, and waiting out front is a car. It's a pickup truck.
Whoa. With like gasoline?
It's humming like it's electrically powered as
Ah,
opposed to growling like it has gas guzzling, bubbling around inside. But it's got a big cab with benches in the back. It's painted almost Christmassy in tones of red, deep reds and greens. And emblazoned across the hood is this crow sigil that you've seen sort of as a motif around these buildings. We'll pile on in, taking you to the guest house.
Excellent.
You're piling in.
All right.
Can I drive?
Can you drive?
I mean, it's established that I can pilot an airship and ride motorbikes.
The window rolls down with the speed that suggests someone's cranking it as opposed to it being a button push. And someone who looks like the human version of Rusty, like with a cap. Not the same cap, but like the timbre of the voice and the rough physicality remind you of Rusty. Says, "No, you can't drive. Get in."
I had the same thought.
I sit up
Feel
front.
too bad about it.
Also, what is the person they keep telling you should talk to, Finnick?
Old Bow.
Old Val come and visit us?
Oh. Old Bow. Well, I gotta go through channels to get in touch with Old Bow. Who told you to talk to Old Bow?
A terrier.
That makes a lot of sense. Oh, wait, you're talking to the same Harold who told you to talk to Old Bow before. No, then you're talking to a different one. Because
They just look very similar.
You twins. It's like in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Nobody tells them nothing.
yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go through. Yeah, what other? Yeah, from a terrier, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll see what Old Bow's up to.
Thank you.
Sure. There might be other ways of getting in touch with him. He's kind of, but you heard it from a terrier. He said kind of, he's doing like a hand waggle, like, kind of weird, but he doesn't say weird.
But then he looks at her and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
She's like all cocked to the side, like, what's that?
Like you. One of you types.
Yeah, what have yous?
We smell the same.
That tracks. Honestly. That tracks. Well, enjoy your stay. And once you're all piled in, and you're in the front.
Oh, yeah.
Theo is.
Yeah.
Well, you can ride in back.
I know.
Fine too. Okay.
Oh, is it a stick shift?
Nope, it's all electric. So. And so he gives you the grand tutorial. He's like, all right, so I'm pushing this long one on the right here, and it's going forward. And he explains how to drive an electric car, and it's like not as complicated or interesting as the airship. but you're getting a rough feel for it. And then he starts along the trip. He's telling you about like, oh, well, there ought to be, if you're really interested in this stuff, then see if I can. He's taking a shine to you.
I'm just
you're
letting him
curious.
talk. Yeah.
He starts asking you about what it's like to fly an airship, and you're just sort of talking shop about various piloty things. He takes you west, and they set you up in a house that on a cliff that's overlooking the ocean.
Whoa.
And you're like, holy crap, it's water that just keeps going forever.
Except for the mountains.
Yeah, the Olympics right
Yeah.
over there.
I'm trying to think of, hold on.
There.
If it's a
there-
cloudy day at all, we might not see them.
Yeah, we might. Yeah,
Oh yeah, stupid sound.
it's just.
If it's a cloudy day at all, we might not see the Olympics.
It's a great day. So the water just keeps on going for longer than you ever expected it to.
But then they're huge mountains.
Yeah.
Not as big as our mountains, I mean.
Well, we probably were still looking at those mountains and then checking out the map and going like, I can't believe those are mountains over there. And then past it is just even more sea.
You do notice on the horizon that some of those rain clouds that you've heard of are starting to roll in. And there is a servant at the house who is like cooking for you, and you each get set. You have your own bedroom with your own fluffy ass bed. And as the servant explains to you, that there's like, as a guest of the royal family, all the luxuries and accommodations are provided. And then a little bit after midnight, there's a pounding on the door.
Theo's sleeping outside, by the way.
Outside, like, there's a hammock in the yard.
Yeah. Perfect.
Hammocked up. So you awaken to someone pounding at the door, and you can see them. And it's the Duchess with bandaged side. Bandaged side. A small caravan of cars has rolled up to the street outside, and there are guards like looking very alert. And she pounds and says, "Theo, Yolanda, Doctor."
Morgan.
The weird one.
Bird girl.
I'm up.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you're like getting up and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, Theo, thank God." They took the doctor.
Who's they?
The weird tech, the Babylonians.
I was so hoping we would fight the Babylonians.
I opened the door right in the time to hear you say, I was so hoping we'd find
I didn't. That wasn't Theo. Well, actually, that probably was Theo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as I hear that, I say, they took the doctor, didn't they?
They took the doctor.
Because the doctor used to work for them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will rescue the doctor. Did they take him to the place just south of here, or
Just once in my life, I like for something to just be convenient, and then that's it. And no more complications.
Forget it. It's the apocalypse.
They're like some guards
They're
and
all
stuff
well.
have come in and helped you gather up your gear to put you in the cars, like in
Yes.
the trucks. It's like, we got, and one of the heralds before pulls out his tablet and holds it up where you can see, and there's a map of the city, and there's a flashing red dot on it. He says they're still in the north. They're still here north of the lake. Hopefully, we can intercept them before they get across the water.
Do you have any snacks?
And everyone, like, there's a second's pause as everyone looks, and there's enough time to hear the crashing of a wave in the distance from the sound. And that driver who looks just like Rusty sticks his head out the window and says, "I got snacks. Get in."
If it's any consolation, I'm pretty sure her sorcery runs on snacks.
Likely so.
Did we get enough sleep for a long rest?
Oh, you got enough sleep for a
Okay.
while.
Woo! Look at that.
Oh, wait, no, you didn't. It was half. You didn't burn that many spells, right?
Yeah.
Maybe all of them.
Well, I only have 3, and then then I spent 2.
We'll,
and,
all right,
we'll,
it's 10.
we'll probably reserve a little bit of that for next time. So
Okay.
that's where we're going to leave it tonight. You're all in the the backs of these wagons and trucks, speeding down these, slaloming through the abandoned cars in these streets. With the stars overhead and the glow of the various houses around you. It's Aloft, a post-atomic romance. Woo!
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it. So we're gonna also come back next week and pick up right where we left off there. Monday nights, 7 p.m. PST, here on GeekSpaceTV.
And that's my last show of this season.
That's right, because
Yeah.
this episode after that is going to be our season finale. So
Yeah.
do come in to get that quality Monica time before it's too late. You'll have to wait a lot longer.
In which we'll learn more hashtag Monica facts.
We'll find out. I don't know if that's happening anymore. I
Well,
think people
not
got-
online, but like right here.
We actually
that's
got
true.
we got a Monica fact in today.
And we
That
got a
really
Monica
happened.
fact.
We
Her
got a
favorite
code.
number is 19.
That's
She
true.
thinks the 19 is the perfect age. We were about to have a debate
Stephen King.
with Stephen
Yeah.
King.
Prime number.
Prime number.
So other cool stuff is that no show. Just gonna run through the announcements real quick again, and then thank some people who've been supporting the show. No shows on Friday for the next week or two, but come back on Wednesday for Leviathan. Come back on Monday again for us, and then come back on Wednesday again for Leviathan. Keep your eyes peeled on the various streams and social media streams for details about this Saturday, the 18th, 1-year anniversary party for GeekSpaceTV. And also, if you want to get involved on meeting us at PAX, hit up the Discord. Big shout out to some people that have been shouting at us with generous support.
Who loves us?
Cass Avenue loves us. Cass
Hi.
Avenue loves us to the very generous tune of $25.
What?
They say, "I'm so glad I got to watch Theo's first date. Brave Monday, all." Aw.
If Cass,
Thanks,
if Cass was to be acting at us like in the style of a Jack Nicholson as the Joker, in the end of the Batman 1980s movie, asking who do you trust? I trust you.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody who participated in chat and has been watching and spreading the news about the show with their friends and stuff. Big thanks to the mods. Big thanks to Anna, who runs GeekSpaceTV and is amazing. Big thanks to Jared, our technical producer.
I broke his leg. That's an inside joke between me and Ahmad. I didn't
Okay.
break any of your legs, Jared, but
And
figuratively.
big thanks to Andrew.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks to Andrew.
Thank you. I don't know about y'all or about y'all, but I'm really looking forward to coming back for more next Monday. So
Yeah.
I'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.